Texas Card House Live. That's right. TCH Live, brought to you by Texas Card House Dallas tonight. It is Benjamin Miney and Johnny High Roller, and we're about to get down to the action in just a few seconds. And welcome for anyone that is here early. It's about time for a little bit of no-limit hold'em action of the high-stakes variety. We're playing for a total of $21,000 for first place. And let's get down to the action. Let's do it. Johnny, what's up? How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you guys for having me on. Really excited to see what I consider the most fun thing to watch in poker, which is a final table. And not just any final table. This is the biggest Saturday weekly final table we've had. About $20,000 up top for first place. These guys are going to be put to some decisions here for a lot of money. I'm really excited to see how people react to it.
Absolutely. Me as well, as we already have the action going underway. Justin is going to go ahead and raise up to $200,000 as the blinds are, I believe, 25-50-50 for the start of this final table.
Yeah, Kojak certainly plenty good to open here from UTG +2. And it's going to get a lot of hands like ace-3 suited to fold that has a lot of equity against you right there. I mean, currently the favorite, so like the raise here from Justin.
And the action looks like it does fold around to the big blind Hollywood here with the Jack-7. Yeah, it's just going to let it go, find a better spot here.
So looking at this final table, I did get a chance to get the stack sizes up right here. Always really critical when you go into a final table to look at who's to your left, who's to your right. Because generally in a tournament, you're going to be playing with the players directly to your left or directly to your right. Ranges are tighter. It's going to fold to the button, to the blinds more often. So we got a couple stacks here in seat 1, 2, and 3 that both have above average chips. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they play against each other. When it folds down to them in late position, who's willing to put in the light 3 bets, the light 4 bets, and try to take those chips down.
Absolutely, it's a great point that not a lot of people actually really think about is when all the big stacks are right next to each other, how is that going to affect the play of the table? I guess we're going to find out as the action is going to be on Cal, who raises up to $125,000 with 10-8 suited. Getting a call from AJ with the Queen Jack off. Now Dennis on the button, going to release the Ace-6. Hollywood with a suited flat tire is going to get out of the way. And Michael will fold the big, and we're going to go heads up here. Flop's going to come. Ooh, flat tire would have liked this flop.
Could have a little bit of action on this board here. Both making a pair. All of them have black cards, and the black cards are on the flop, so.
True.
Be some interesting turns here if a club or a spade peels off, or a 10 or a 9. So see if Kel can make the call here. Shout out to the Chiefs, by the way.
Hell yeah. People always make fun of me for how much I like to talk about football when none of my esteemed co-commentators like to really talk about football. We see the spade come here on the turn, bringing in the backdoor flush draw.
And Kel just rips it.
Just chips it. Pair and a flush draw. Let's go, baby. Put the money
and AJ is in a tough spot here. Remember, Kel opened from early position, and AJ called. So his range is a little bit capped here. Kel can have the over pairs, can have some queens that maybe would try to go for a check call on a board this wet. Let's see if AJ can make the call here. He's a decent favorite, but, 67% with one card to come is, but Kel's got a lot of equity here on this board, so tough spot for AJ.
Kel did set this up really nicely because this is a pot-sized shove here on the turn. He did lead up the betting all the way up here.
Yeah, AJ's got to call about 910K into 1.8, so he's getting 2-to-1 here. He's pretty much getting the exact price he needs. Or excuse me, he's getting definitely more than the price he needs, but I think Kel has a great candidate here for a check call and then jam on the turn.
You can see AJ not super thrilled to be in the spot he is, but I don't think he really hates his hand.
And this is a 20, almost 20 big. Oh, and he makes the call.
He makes the call. We're already going to see a 2.7 million tournament chip pot.
This is a really critical. So early in the final table, this is a critical river card here.
So they're going to table the hands. They're going to see what they're up against, and I think that's the best Kel wanted to see.
Queen!
Queen 2 pair here.
Easy
for AJ. It was already ahead, but he actually loves it. He loved just a little bit of improvement for the Freezies. Gets the pot, eliminates Kel in 9th place. Kel, congratulations on the finish. Enjoy the money, and we will see you hopefully next time here on the TCH live stage.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, just a really tough flop for both players because they both have so much equity. Top pair, good kicker versus middle pair, turn flush draw. Huge pot here for our contestant in seed 8. I think he now has a pretty decent chip lead, taking maybe, I think, 3 million. So
See, I know Hollywood was just under 2 million, and I think he was about 2 million before the hand started, so he's...
Well, he shoved 910 into 1.8, so he should be pretty close. That is a really big stack for this tournament.
It sure is. There was over 300 entrants, which is leaving us to be much more deep stacked than usual.
Yeah, we're starting the final table at 25.50,
just ridiculous.
Which sometimes is what the blinds were when we're like three-handed.
Right.
So, shout out to everybody that entered the tournament. By the way, I mean, what a great turnout for our Saturday Weekly, which I consider America's best. I guess you can't call it a daily tournament, but definitely America's best weekly
regular scheduled tournament, maybe?
Regularly scheduled tournament, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, see, speaking of NFL, Fox has America's Game of the Week. This is America's tournament.
Let's go. I love that attitude. Let's go. Quick shout out. I'm seeing everyone here in the chat. Got Pez here, Ryan Mann's here. I saw Jedi Master Ted. Alice is here. Love to see her. Let's see who else.
All the regulars in the chat.
Oh, and of course, Kriziak with Durtan with the $10 super chat. Thank you so very much.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, awesome.
That's so very, very nice of you. Thank you, thank you. Eugene Green.
Got to give a quick shout out to Pez, by the way, fellow Max Verstappen fan.
Oh, yeah?
Current Formula One world champion, if you guys didn't know. So was really fun to watch that. Okay, we got Daniel here with a huge hand.
He's going to raise it up all in. 320K to go. He found a great spot to get it in there.
Yeah.
A short stack at this table. Found a great hand to do it with.
Less than 10 big blinds. You look at Ace King, you're just fist pumping, jumping in the air in your mind.
Yep, absolutely. It's not giving the blinds any great price or anything like that, but I don't think he really cares. I think he just wants to pick up some blinds.
Dave here going to think about it, but just a little too late to call, and then Justin, 8-5, not going to be able to do it. He's really the only one that can call with a somewhat speculative hand, closing the action, but 8-5's not going to do it, and that's a really great result for Ace King.
Takes down 125K in profit just off the blinds alone. That's pretty crazy in itself.
Yeah. Yeah, especially when you're playing a tournament like this where we're playing a one-day. You know, the structure is, I think, the best you can hope for a one-day tournament. But at the same time, there's just not that many blinds in play. So anytime you can pick up the blinds and antes, you're just picking up a lot of, you know, dollar value, a lot of ICM value because, you know, you can go from 8 big blinds to 15 big blinds just by picking up blinds and antes, getting some shoves through.
Absolutely. We're on to the next one here. Daniel. He's going to just release the ace-10 early position. Dennis. Looks like he's going to make it 125K to go.
It's a great-looking Blackhawks jersey, by the way.
Oh, I was just talking to him about it. He is from the area, as am I, also from the area. So that was a nice conversation. If I had to pick a hockey team, I would probably be a Blackhawks fan. So Dax is going to go ahead and defend his big blind with the queen jack off. Well, let's go off to the flop, which will come 10 high, 10-7 deuce, rainbow. No pairs for either player, king high in the lead.
See what Dennis decides to do here. He's got a really awkward stack size. Just about 14 or 15 big blinds. Yeah, I'm going to check it back here. Has some showdown value.
Oh, my God. The queen comes on the turn, giving both players top pair.
I think we call this a domination station here.
That is what we say.
Very unfortunate for both players. And I'd imagine there that Dennis is going to call. Yeah.
He will make the call, and we'll go ahead and see a river. Don't put the jack out there. Oh, okay, well.
Daxon actually might have got saved here. A lot of hands with a king are going to call this turn and now improve the top pair. Daxon might just check fold here. I would imagine Dennis is going to shove when check too. We'll see what Daxon does here.
The SPR is...
Oh, he is going to lead.
favoring a shove here. It's just going to make a smooth call here. We're going to see 2 pair here for Mr. Dennis. And he'll take it down for a nice 1 million chip pot.
Yeah, just making sure, yeah, no diamonds came in or anything.
Nope.
So
I think it was just the straights and whatnot in case anything like that might have happened to any set that was being slow played.
pretty brutal turn, though, for both
Oh, that
of
was
them.
that was gross.
Domination station pre-flop, and then you just drilled the 2 outer.
Dennis liked to see that one. We're on to the next one. Guys, if you don't know the chip denominations at this table, you can look at the 3 different colors. We have light blue, purple, and red and white. The light blues are 5,000 in value. The purples are 25,000 in value. And of course, the beautiful red and white chips are 100,000 in value. So in case you're trying to eyeball these stacks here and follow along at home, you have the tools.
I think we might have had enough runners here today. We might see the green chips, the 500Ks.
No way. I would love it. I honestly would. But as long as we have the light blues, they probably won't.
$90,000 prize pool for a 365 weekly scheduled tournament. Dave, you're going to open up the ace-10 here for pretty much an all-in sizing. See if AJ tries to look him up here. Super light, but not going to be able to do it.
Dave will take down the blinds for a profit of $125,000. We'll be on to the next one. You can see the prize payouts here. The next man out will receive $2,594, and it goes all the way up to $21,966. And like Johnny High Roller said, it was a buy-in of $365, unlimited re-entry for the first 4 hours.
Yeah, I think I misspoke earlier. I said over 20,000, almost $22,000
$22,000
for first place.
Yeah.
365, and this tournament runs every week.
Yep.
This isn't a World Series of Poker Circuit event. It's not a WPT. This is every Saturday here, Texas Card House, Dallas. If you are within driving distance of TCH Dallas and you love tournaments and you're not playing this tournament every Saturday,
you're doing it wrong. That's for sure.
I can't argue with that. It is fantastic. And you get a chance to play on stream the final table, which I think is one of the best things, not only for your game, but also for anyone you know that maybe is not into poker. It's not going to come to the card room and watch you play, but they can get on YouTube and watch you play. I think that's one of the best things that we have here is that we are able to stream this final table.
Absolutely.
And get a lot of people a chance to play on stream.
Make a great point. A lot of people reach out to me when I'm dealing at the tables. They love the tournament stream, and they want to get their shot at the final table. So I would love to oblige you. Please come check out the tournament, throw in a bullet, see if you can make it to the end. I tell you, it is fiscally worth it.
And for our early morning risers, we now start at 10 a.m.
That's true.
Not 11. So this actually probably ends at a more reasonable hour for most people than past, so, which I think was a great change. Daxon here finds a couple cards with a picture on them.
Good enough.
With about 10 big blinds, and that's going to be certainly good enough from the cutoff to jam. And Dennis not going to be able to make the call here with 8-5. That's a good fold. We'll head to the next one here. Just kind of looking at the payout structure here. Very big jumps here at the top. So for the middling stacks, short stacks that are the 15 and under range, definitely a lot of incentive just to try to accumulate as many chips as possible. So I was interested to see if some of these stacks over here, seat 4, seat 9, see if they try to get a little bit spicy here over someone's open and try to go for a rejam.
If you're just joining us, there's 245 of you on YouTube already at the very beginning of this tournament. Thanks all for showing up. If you haven't already figured it out, you're listening to the voices of Benjamin Miney and, of course, my special guest of the evening that is already kicking butt, doing the best, Mr. Johnny High Roller, the winner of our $1 million guarantee tournament. It's an absolute blessing to have you here with me tonight, so thank you for joining me, my friend.
Absolute pleasure to be here, Ben. Getting to get behind the booth a little bit and kind of see the behind the scenes of TCH Live, which fantastic setup, by the way.
Well, thanks.
And yeah, get to see some final table action. All the chips are in play. That's the one thing I think people don't understand about a final table is that when you actually get to the last 9, all the chips are in play. You could technically win the tournament on one hand.
That is absolutely true.
So Justin's going to open up the king queen here.
And AJ's got the birds in the hijack. A dream spot you'll love to see. Pocket aces on the final table. How does he want to play them? We'll find out here, as he is a 9-1 favorite here.
Justin raising up off a medium stack here. He's definitely got stacks shorter than him. Oh, and AJ's just going to jam it here.
That would be a good time for a big one here.
Dennis calling for a big one here with AJ, the chip leader, shoving, but he's going to let it go. And now Justin. See if he can get away from this. He's got the cards in the hand, typically. Oh, yeah.
Never overplay king queen. A lot of people like to tell each other. So I hear that a lot at the table. Oh, I just had
AJ
it.
says no bluff, no bluff. Yeah, when the chip leader shoves with multiple big stacks behind, you got to kind of respect the range there. So good pull by Justin there with the king queen, not trying to call it off maybe a little bit light there, given the strength of that shove.
The fives aren't thick enough for the your standard. Yeah, I'd have called fives for sure.
But yeah, speaking of tournaments that happen at TCH, that $1 million guarantee tournament was honestly so well run.
Dude,
by
thanks. You can thank Travis for that. That dude was well, I mean,
Yeah.
and we had a ton of floors working that event.
Yeah.
Travis was the ultimate tournament director. For
Definitely
the event.
shout out to Travis, the TCH tournament director. He's in here pretty much day in, day out running most, if not all, the tournaments. And yeah, big ones like that with the amount of people that wanted to play unlimited re-entry. I mean, it's just it was a madhouse, but we actually, I think, got pretty much everyone that wanted to buy in. And I don't think the alternate lines were long, but not long enough where I think people were deterred from coming. And the staff was great. People worked long hours, I heard.
It was a long course of days, but I can't say it wasn't an awesome event. So
Yeah.
Johnny High Roller here next to me is the one who took down the event in a long heads-up battle against Lost Sang Pet with it was just so good. You can catch that coverage on our TCH Live Poker YouTube page. So go ahead and check that out if you are interested in high-stakes poker. That is the highest of stakes poker we've had here for tournaments. So check her out.
I might be a little bit biased, but if you like heads-up poker, which given all of the heads-up grudge matches we've seen over the past couple years, I obviously went back and watched almost all of it. I thought we played some fascinating heads-up poker. There were a lot of medium-sized pots, but there were a lot of interesting decisions. Lala, honestly, a great player, played super aggressive, was a really tough opponent. The whole final table, she kept that going at heads-up. And also, I was told this when I was out here playing before the stream. Lala just took down a circuit ring in Aruba.
Yes, she did. She absolutely did. She was playing over there in the Caribbean, and she took some of her Dallas friends with her, and I think one of her friends actually in the final table as well with her.
Oh, awesome.
But yeah, Law took it down.
I would love to head over to Aruba, just win a quick tournament, get a circuit ring, bink. Yeah.
That's one of the best binks you can get.
But yeah,
trips paid for.
I don't think enough can be said about how the staff here at TCH handled that big tournament. I know that we wish we had more space so we could run more tables and more bigger tournaments like that. And hopefully there's more to come on that. But given the space we had, the staff that TCH had, I think they did pretty much as good as they could have done, squeezing every single table they could, every single inch of property owned, getting as many people in, and yeah, I think everyone that worked those, double shifts, working overnights, hats off to everybody that helped out, because the event was run really well.
Well, thanks for the kind words. You're the man. It was.
And I caveat that I know it's easy to say that when you win the tournament, but
well,
I think a lot of people would have a similar sentiment.
Plenty of people that said the same thing. So it's not just winner's bias here. Super nice words from you, my friend. Thank you. And I will make sure Travis hears the message.
AJ gonna take it down here with a king jack. He has a fairly substantial chip lead. I think he sitting on about 4 million. Next closest would be Hollywood, I think, in seat 2. When we get the chip stacked in front of us here, maybe after the next hand we can verify that. But he can really open it up and put a lot of pressure on these 15 big blind stacks that are trying to make ladders. We'll see if he tries to get a little bit spicy here, knowing that he's got maybe a third or a quarter of the chips in play.
Full stack of those red chips is 2 million. And AJ has a full stack of those, and some. Oh, that's just got to be such a good feeling.
Justin here gonna limp the button here with the king 8.
Yep, just calls along for 50,000. We're still on 50,000 for a little while, and AJ here with the pocket 5s and a big blind. Might want to get a little saucy.
No.
Making sure he wants to get the right size. And in fact, he's just going to check and play a little bit post-flop.
Could kind of go either way there. 5s is a little bit of an in-betweener, I think, in that specific spot.
Ace, queen, 6 on the flop, 2 clubs. AJ, the only one with a club in their hand, is just going to check over to Justin, who can rep this much better than AJ can. And he, in fact, is going to attempt to for 150K. And get it done, just like that. Ranges exist.
I'm pretty sure AJ showed the 5s there, so if you're Justin bluffing there with the king 8, I think you feel pretty good. You got him to fold the pair.
Absolutely.
Right.
Hard to make a pair in this game.
That's what they say. Alice Kuna asked me in the chat, Ben, any word on next door space? No, ma'am. Promise you. When we have any word, you'll find out faster than my brother would, my mother would. I'll be shouting from the rooftops when we have ideas on next door space. Predictor Tom, who did give us a $10 super chat earlier, says, it's almost 5 a.m. here in Poland. It's nice to hear you guys, but I need to go to sleep. Best regards. Well, have a great night, my friend. Michael here.
Shout out to the international viewers.
Oh, yeah. We have so many European side of the world watching us all the time. So thanks for showing up. Ace Queen here is going all in the hands of Michael, who's going to take down the blinds. We'll be on to the next one.
Man, I still can't believe it. $22,000 up top for a 365 that runs every Saturday.
Every single Saturday.
I don't think we can mention that enough. If you are within driving distance of Texas Card House Dallas and you like tournaments, it's a must play. It's a must play.
If it's worth it to you to like get a hotel room for $150 or whatever, turn a week or $150 a night. Or
I heard cash games run 24/7 too. By the way,
that is true. You don't have to go to sleep. You don't even have to get a hotel room.
And if you want to play all night, I'm pretty sure the Sunday morning tournament starts pretty early as well.
Sure does. It absolutely does. The Sunday grind, we call it. And then PLO at night. You can just get all the tournaments in.
I think you can make that hotel reservation worth it.
Oh, yeah.
Dave here with the king queen.
Gonna set up a pot size call or flop bet, you know, just getting ready to get it in there.
Basically committing himself. Daniel here with the ace-7 of puppy feet, as some like to say, or clovers. Wondering if he is just enough ahead here to put it in for maybe just a bit less than what Dave has. Kind of an interesting spot. I'd imagine that Dave would just shove most of his strong hands. So I wonder if Daniel thinks that he's maybe just enough ahead here to put it in and have a better than average chance to double up.
I think he's just thinking of ICM implications here. You saw him look back behind him, and the reason he looks behind him is because he has the payouts right behind the entire table. So He's in fact going to let her go.
Careful consideration.
And Dennis, unfortunately, in the big blind, looking at the 5 deuce. You always want to just peel at least one ace.
Just,
you know,
God,
I look at my cards one at a time, and I just, if someone's bluff or if someone's shoving basically into my big blind, I at least want to look at one good card first way. Because if I look at a deuce, I'm most likely not going to call it off. Maybe deuces occasionally, but
maybe.
I get it. You gotta wait for better.
just a reminder for everybody here that if you are interested in playing on our TCH live stream cash games,
Go on.
head over to
Do you know what
your
to say?
Dallas at TexasCardHouse.com.
Well, kind of. We have a new way to do it now. So
There's a Google form, right?
Yes, there's a Google form, and you can find that in the description of this stream tonight. Or not. Just kidding. Not. Normally there is, but there is not. But it's a link tree. But when in doubt, you can also email Dallas at TexasCardHouse.com if you're interested in playing, like Johnny High Roller said. But as we're going to just take a halt on that real quick as we're looking at aces going up against 6-4 suited here. And 6-4.
Wow, flops open-ended here.
Getting one
Calls
of
for
the
the
best
one
flops
time.
you can get. Oh, the one time is in play?
Oh,
That's not it. Ace is still the best at the moment.
calls for the one time again. I don't know if it works. You can't use your one time twice.
No.
Not in the same hand.
No dice. Aces will hold and gonna go ahead and get the double up through Justin. 515K pot here. Yes, you can sign up to play our cash games, whether you like to play 1-3, 2-5, or 5-10. Or bigger, 10, 25, 50. Or bigger, 100, 200. Just kidding.
I'm about to say that 25-50 game gets a straddle on fairly frequently, but
Right away, yeah.
yeah, go ahead and send an email over to Dallas at TexasCardHouse.com. Contact info and your poker background. And I mean, we're running at least 2 streams every week, if not 3,
Yep.
with the occasional special stream or occasional 1-3 stream with Next Gen Poker.
Yep. And of course, you don't have to be in Dallas either. You can be in Austin as well. We stream Mondays and Thursdays in Austin, and then we stream here quite a bit. So, like Johnny said, ship your info over there, and we'll see what we can do whenever we have a seat open. We might just reach out to you. Quick thank you for Zamora with a sub on YouTube. Thanks so very much. Ooh, Daxton gonna rip it all in there for 530K.
One of my favorite hands here, the Queen Jack of Clovers.
Hollywood's gonna let it go. Michael's gonna let it go.
Nobody with nada to call it off.
Regs.
Take out the blinds and Annie's. So just one bust out here so far.
That's it. We've been streaming for about 30 minutes now.
I think we're about a few orbits in. So these guys under 15 big blinds here, as you see on your screen, a lot of. Look at these chip stacks, these stack sizes. Really interesting how close everyone at the bottom is. There's 5 players, 4 through 8, all within 5 big blinds of each other.
Yep.
That is creating some interesting ICM scenarios that, like we were seeing earlier with the A7 looking to try to call it off. It's like, oh, can I make one more ladder here if the big blind wakes up with it and wins? So kind of a spot you don't really see that often as a tournament is that the bottom half of the field is so tightly together. It'll be interesting to see how these players react.
Justin with the Queen 4 suited here under the gun is going to go ahead and raise it up to 150 to go, and it falls to AJ, who's got a couple ducks in the hole. They are what they're quacked up to be. And AJ's going to go ahead and make the call here, try and spike one.
30, 60, 60. Yep.
Or represent a range here.
Calling to 150.
Daniel's just going to promptly release the 9 deuce.
Daniel in his mind had folded it about an hour ago.
Yes, of course, of course. Oh,
we've all been there. Ooh, here we go.
Pocket jacks for Michael, looking at a little bit of money in the middle.
Yeah.
He's going to have to go ahead and get it in there. Dave here, the suited King 8. Doesn't want to go up against 4 people here, so he releases. Justin with the queen 4 might just say, I was just kidding. He's like, but every time everyone else raises.
It's that one time you get a little bit spicy, thinking, okay, I can get it through here this one time, and then it goes call, and someone shows behind you, like, how do you guys know? How do they know?
They're so smart. You're so much smarter than me.
AJ here with the ducks.
Flipping at best.
Chips in hand.
He just has the chips to try and eliminate a player here. Unfortunately, he is a big underdog in this scenario.
I want to win it. If you don't have a good hand. I got a pair.
Seeing Derek Ing in the chat, Mr. Data himself, as Michael gets it done, getting the fold from AJ. Nice little pot there.
Yeah, shout out to Data. I like the way he was putting some of the guys in one of the next gen streams that he played on in spots. I thought he played really interesting and really well, actually. Given that, you know, even though the game was playing pretty loose, you know, he was definitely putting some people in some tough spots.
Derek makes it look easy sometimes, that's for sure. Rags all the way up to the button here as Michael just runs it back. How about it? Couple fish hooks in the hole. He's going to make a raise here. His blinds are now 30, 60, 60. He's going to make it 300K to go. King it again.
Basically putting the short stacks in the blinds all in.
Takes down a little bit of profit.
I didn't want to. He asked me to.
Honestly, I believe that. I actually believe that.
It's a little spot where you might find yourself with a little deja vu looking at the Jacks two hands in a row. I might have to give it the double check just to make sure that I'm not seeing things. I have done that in a tournament.
Sure.
I don't know if anybody in the chat has... Actually, I think it's a good question. How many of you guys in the chat have misread your hand in a really, really important spot? Because I've done it. Maybe about hour 11 of play in the World Series of Poker in a 1500. Thought I had pocket fours, but I had ace four.
I see.
And when you have ace four, and there's a 4 on the flop, you do not have a set of fours. It's just a pair.
That is absolutely true. Dennis here going to go ahead and raise up to $150 with ace jack. Getting a call from Hollywood with ace 10. Now Dave with queen 10 on the button. He's going to find a better time here. He's pretty short stacked. He's going to release. Action's going to fold all the way to the big. Who will release the big blind? These two will go heads up.
Domination station here. Dennis ahead with the ace jack.
How about trade deuce? Deuce, the dirty diaper flop. Ace jack high is currently best. Some chop outs here as well in any 3.
If I was playing against Nick Rigby here, I would just snap fold.
Goodbye.
Shout out to Nick Rigby, by the way, for coming over to Dallas and playing on our live stream.
God, we were so lucky to have him here. That was awesome. Got a chance to watch those live streams.
A lot of opportunities here. Let's see if Hollywood with a decent ace high makes call, and he will.
6 on the turn doesn't really change a whole heck of a lot. Just brings in more chop outs.
4-5 gets there, but it's really hard for any of these players to have 4-5. See if it goes check here. Yeah, we had Rigby on the commentary for the tournament, and then we had him on the live stream. So it was really nice meeting him. Got to ask a little bit more about the origins of the dirty diaper, the 3 deuce.
Yep.
5 on the river here. Dennis is actually going to have the best hand here with ace jack. No chop opportunities. But Hollywood with a very relevant ace of diamonds here. And he's going to bet big.
I think the first one in is the last one out in this pot. But I don't know. Maybe Dennis wants to look him up. How much of this board can he really have? Outside
It's interesting. Hollywood should probably be fairly pair dense here, meaning he has a lot of paired hands that would call a bet on the flop and maybe check back turn for pot control. He's going to take it down here. Yeah, I think, honestly, I think that's a great bluff by Hollywood. I don't think he's value betting. I think he's bluffing. And with the ace of diamonds in your hand, blocking any nut flush that kind of got there on the back door. So I think it's a really fantastic bet to get exactly what Dennis had, ace jack or ace queen, to fold, that you do lose to.
Sure. We did have a question in chat, how many players we had in the player pool tonight, along with the buy-in. The buy-in was $365 per entry. It was a limited re-entry for the first 4 hours, and we had a total of 305 entries, which gave us a grand total prize pool of $91,500 for a weekly scheduled event.
Just quadrupled the game, or more than quadrupled the guarantee.
So gross. Daxon with a J deuce. Gonna rip it.
Yeah.
Take it down.
It's a really good shove there by Daxon, actually. I don't think a lot of players, especially at the kind of sub $500 tournament level, would feel comfortable. It's an uncomfortable shove. But when you look at a card with a picture on it, and you're in the small blind with about 11 big blinds, you kind of just have to close your eyes and put it in there. So I think it was really actually good by Daxon not to just maybe limp there and then fold to a jam.
Almost 400 of you joining us now for our Saturday tournament. Welcome. Special guest with me, Johnny High Roller, tonight. Doing some excellent color
and
commentary.
Daxon.
There we go. Although Daniel here with a very nice ace-jack suited in the big blinds. He's going to take his shot. I am not throwing away my shot. Name that musical.
I think I know it. Hamilton.
Yeah, sure is. 9 high, flop, 9-7 deuce, 2 hearts.
Gut shot.
Absolutely.
8-6-5.
Ace on the turn, pairs him up.
I think 6-5 is a heart.
How about a pair of sixes? But that's
Okay.
it. Daniel will get the double up.
I forgot the other thing about that $1 million guaranteed final table. Not only I think the heads up went for a while, you know, Lala and I played surprisingly long.
Yep.
I think a lot of people were surprised how long we went. But also the whole final table had huge all-ins. I think the first person busted in a huge all-in against Lala. I think it was ace-king versus jacks in a really bad spot. And
Just got the needle from our producer that it was not long. It was very long.
Yeah.
It was. I was there the whole time.
A lot of other interesting pots. I believe that Lala, who had the chip lead for most of the final table, and then Kim, who is in seat 10, who also came in with a lot of chips, they played some really interesting pots, because when you're going heads up against the chip leader against the chip for second in chips, you know, it's really interesting to see who can kind of play that game of chicken more, like who's willing to risk more of their equity in the tournament to go for the win. And then a lot of just really sick runouts for the all-ins.
Oh, yeah. It was great. Justin here. He's going to go ahead and rip it here with a suited King 7 as we get back to talking about that awesome tournament. Just a moment.
Awesome tournaments happening every day here.
It's true. Kelly Blackledge with the sub on YouTube. Thank you so very much as we make our way to this all-in pot. Hollywood here with the ace-9 off.
465.
See if Hollywood's able to find a call here. It's really close here with ace-9. I think with ace-jack, I think you feel pretty comfortable. You have enough high card power where you're not dead that often to ace-king, ace-queen, or aces.
465.
Hollywood here.
Obviously,
one of the bigger stacks.
whenever you're flipping, you're, you know, feeling pretty good about it, getting a decent price. So see if he's able to put it in here. Love the shirt, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Always looking good.
I need to dress better when I come here.
Eh.
That'll be my my New Year's resolution for
Dress
20. For
dress
20
better for poker?
Dress better for poker. I will not wear sweatpants.
All right. Oh, Lord. Two
Ooh.
pair on the flop here for King 7. Well out flopping the ace 9.
Give me like a deuce on the turn. Deuce on the turn.
All
9
starters.
comes on the
Ooh.
turn. There's some outs. Any
Wow,
ace or any
what a
9.
turn.
It's a sweat. That's not
No.
it. King's full.
You knew it.
We'll get the double up here through Hollywood. And he'll be up to 1.1 million in chips. And we're seeing that chip advantage spread out even more. Our seat 3 and our seat 5 have both turned from middling stacks into well over $1 million now.
Like a deuce of clubs on there. That might be-
Yeah, very significant pot there, getting over 1 million chips, feeling a little bit more comfortable about, I think, still over 20 big blinds. You know, you're not going to be all in or fold for sure, and can maybe play a little bit more post-flop than when you're like 15 or less. Shout out to DFS Brat in the chat.
There he is. The Yoda wielder himself.
Glad you're feeling better.
They've literally been There's 83 that know that. That's right.
Well, yeah, we were talking about earlier, New Year's resolution, dress better. I feel like I never dress really bad when I come play, so I'm definitely not one of the worst offenders, but
I've never worn sweatpants to poker.
I can't do it.
I haven't either. Or I can't either. But I've never worn the blazer, you know, or the button up.
I'm thinking collared shirt, max.
Collared shirt is good. Collared shirt is a great,
Yeah.
it's a great bet.
Well,
with some-
I come after work a lot actually,
Sure,
so
sure.
I actually look
fair enough.
fairly decent when I come from the office to the poker room. So
Dennis actually pretty nicely releases the 5s here. He was ahead, but didn't want to get all in there with the pocket 5s and just folds to the shove here.
that's the power of the shove. You can get some hands with a lot of equity against you to fold. So it's uncomfortable. A lot of things in poker are uncomfortable, but once you get comfortable with things like shoving that awkward 10 to 15 big blind stack with some marginal hands, you're making EV in the tournament there. So it was a good shove by Justin. And speaking of things that you should be getting more comfortable at, if you're not smashing the like button right now
Lord.
here.
Look at you. You are just the man of the company. Jeez. The creme de la creme. Yeah, that's right. Smiggity smash that like button. Ziggity zash that like
Ooh,
button.
here we go.
Yeah, we got aces here.
Michael just absolutely wakes up with a.
Well, that makes fun.
Daxon's tournament life is at risk here with a suited king 6. Two clubs on the flop here.
He got up. He got up for the flop. I think he's getting there.
5 is not going to do it, but any
Needs a
club.
club except for the ace of clubs.
All right, that's not it. Aces are going to hold. What a sweat, though. Daxon will be eliminated in 8th place. Daxon had a great run. I'm sure it's not the result you wanted, but I'm sure you won't mind a cool $2,600 for your time. So have a fantastic night. Drive safely. We'll see you next time on the TCH live stage.
Not a bad result, especially given that this was just a fantastic turnout. So, it wasn't one of the chip leaders, I think, coming in. So, not the best result, but yeah, certainly happy to take down $2,600 for, well, at least one $365
Sure,
investment.
sure.
Hopefully it wasn't in for too many bullets, but to be fair, the winter time is here. Maybe some less people on Saturdays, enjoying some more outdoor activities. Hopefully we're getting this turnout more regularly because the last month or so, the growth of the entrance has been insane. So.
Absolutely true. We're looking at a little bit of an interesting hand develop here. Ace-Queen suited from Justin will raise to $250K to go. Hollywood with Ace-Jack is dominated at the moment on the button. Michael's going to release the Ace-8, the dead man's hand, and we'll get over to the big blind. We'll let go of the Jack-6, and we'll go heads up. 10, King 7 here on the flop. Rainbow, both players with a Broadway draw. 7 on the turn. Bears the board.
Bringing in a lot of opportunities here for on a king or a 10. But it may be a situation whoever bets at it gets it. But nope, check here.
That's not it on the river. That 8 will not play. Ace Queen is the best hand with check mark. See if Justin can manage a bet here. He is already ahead, but looks like he's gonna do that. He will bet 300K over to Hollywood. Whoa. Who has red chips in hand. He just wants to see it.
Wow.
Honestly, it's a good call. Opponent didn't have more than ace high. Unfortunately, though, he just had the one better.
I wasn't that wrong, was I?
No. I thought I was good though. I was like, I gotta be good. You don't have the ace king here.
Hollywood just said he thought he was good there. Given the check flop check turn, your second nut no pair with ace jack. You beat some queen X hands, some jack X hands. And also, I think for Justin, it's a really good bet. You get occasionally the worst hand to call with ace jack, but also you probably get like 6s, 5s, 4s, 3s to fold.
Yep.
That are just going to check back and win on the river. So those are actually a really good bet by Justin, even though he took a little bit more of a passive line with the ace queen suited. Daniel here with the 7s. Double checking the blind size, which I was definitely guilty of.
Sure.
I think we're all a little bit guilty of that. It's never want to make that blunder of limping when you wanted to raise because you didn't know the blind size. Michael going to call on the button here with a jack 10.
He will go heads up to a flop, which is a almost pure coin flip. Let's go. How about ace jack? Tray, all hearts.
Just the flop black 7s wanted to see.
Perfect.
Michael here going to check his option. Or excuse me, check back, I mean. Check again.
There were millions of outs on that turn here, and none of them came on the river. Black 7s are good.
Yeah, great result there. I would not be feeling too good against a button caller there. So got to be thrilled there to actually take it down there with the 7s. Yeah, Dalton, I do think that on that ace queen versus ace jack hand, I do think that Justin with ace queen was value betting. Get occasional worst ace to call. So concur with you there.
Dennis with the sweat here is going to raise up to 200K to go. Kojak for Dave on the button. Will release. Actual fold over to the big blind. AJ wields 7-6 off.
Do you remember on the ESPN coverage of the World Series, the Jack Link's wild card hands that they would have where they wouldn't show one side?
Yes.
That's what we got going on here. AJ going to make the call to big blind here with the 7-6.
Won't really connect with this flop here. Just have some backdoor draws as the action will be on Dennis, and he's going to go ahead and just send it.
I'm going to take a guess that Dennis has some pictures in his hand and
some monkeys
is all over. Oh, wow. Ace 10 of
the
heart.
Broadway
Wow.
draw.
No.
Or the royal flush. That's what I meant to say.
Royal flush draw. Wow.
The suited Broadway draw.
Not only that, he actually was technically double gutted to a 9.
That's true.
So, can see why he was quite happy to stick his last 10 big blinds in there.
I will promptly throw these in the middle. Have these. If I lose, I lose.
Hard to have a royal flush gut shot.
Actually dealt 2 straight flushes in this tournament
Wow.
today. I know, and I like never deal straight flushes ever. So that was within the first like hour of my shift too. Both in this tournament. One was a steel wheel, one was an 8 high.
200.
That's fun. Haven't dealt the royal in one of these tournaments yet.
I've made some straight flushes and some quads recently, but they're all in the PLO bomb pots,
All 200.
so they don't really count.
I agree. Not when you get to see every flop. You gotta have some free flop work going to it.
I always say it's kind of like bowling 300 with bumpers. You know, when you make a big hand like that in PLO. It's cheating when you get an extra too.
And now we're sweating again with Dennis here, as he has the mystery hand. Michael with the middle pair here. Dennis will check over to Michael, who has a pair, so he might be inclined to just bet here. And he will. Looks like about 325 maybe?
That's 300.
Ah. Forget.
Yeah, it seems like Dennis just didn't connect with that flop there. Opening another gun, you know, you open some 9s, 8s, 7s, and it comes queen 10 like that. You're kind of, not really sure I want to just start bluffing. Hopefully just get the showdown. So probably a good check fold by Dennis, whatever he had. Take another look at the chip stacks here. AJ's still out ahead with a third of the chips in play with 7 left. That is a good chip lead.
Strong. But it's not over yet. Anybody's game here.
A lot of poker left to be played.
Ace-Jack here from Michael's going to go ahead and raise up to 300,000 to go. Actually, going to fold around over to Dennis here.
Cards add up to 13. What do you do?
Hit me.
Double down.
There you go. I love the blackjack jokes.
You're showing a buzz card.
No one does surrender anymore. No casinos really have surrender anymore for blackjack.
Yeah. I always just play very rudimentary by the book.
As you should.
I never take the insurance.
Well, that's correct. I mean, granted now, I'm not sure how it all changes with all the casinos going to 6 to 5 now instead of 3 to 2.
Oh,
I'm not sure if even money. No, so like never insurance, but even money. I'm not sure. I know it's exactly the same thing, but I'm not sure how, if it plays out. Even money might be accepted now in basic strategy, but I'm curious. I'd look it up.
I think that change from 3 to 2 to 6 to 5 kind of epitomizes how Vegas has changed. Just not being as much for the people, which is I think why you've seen, you know, more tourist business, people going to other casinos in other states now that they've all opened. So hopefully Vegas can make a little bit of a comeback, because I love going out there for the World Series.
I swear every time I get a good
Vegas is really good in small doses.
I agree. I agree. I mean, it might be cool now with being at the Paris and
Yeah, I think
at a new venue.
Yeah, I think I'm curious to see you guys in the chat. What do you guys think about the move to Paris and Bally's? I've talked about it with a number of different people, both players and also staff. And I think in the long term, it's a great change. I think the World Series being on the Strip is going to be great, especially for the traveling people, the recreational players that are coming in from out of town. Yep, you can now walk to the series from almost every hotel. And then you're just going to get more foot traffic from other people wanting to come in and play some of the daily tournaments and the cash games. I think the cash game room will actually be really good at the World Series, where when it's at the Rio, it's okay, it's not bad, but definitely would prefer to be playing on the Strip. So I'm really in favor for it. Just curious what you guys think in the chat about the move. I actually did go walk around back there this fall. And you can get between the two conventions fairly quickly.
I was just at Planet Hollywood myself not a month ago, and I was walking around and I thought, wow, if it really is at the Paris and Bally's, like this is gonna be great. Like,
yeah, I didn't necessarily time the walk, but I have walked from Paris to Planet Hollywood, where there is a
5 minutes
ton of food options.
Oh, millions
at the Miracle Mile shops, and then outside on the kind of the south side of Planet Hollywood. So I think that's going to be great for dinner break, not having to try to get delivery, not trying, feel like you have to rent a car and be able to go out somewhere. So maybe for the locals in Vegas and the people that travel there for the whole series, the parking might be a little bit of an issue, but I think overall for the entire player pool and long run, I think it's a great change.
It's going to be a raise over here with pocket fives from Justin. We're seeing a lot of pocket fives now. A lot of pocket fives and pocket aces and jacks. Those are the 3 biggest pairs of the night we've seen. Actually going to fold around, just going to take it down. Now, Pokerski in the chat. I know you asked. I see you here. Pokerski is actually one of our tournament winners, Saturday tournament winners. He's final table quite a few, and he's won one, at least one, maybe 2. So hello to you, but he also asked me a question a little while ago about where I play Magic the Gathering in Dallas, and keep forgetting to answer that question for you. The answer is Boardwalk Games in Dallas. That's it's about 15 minutes from here, so shout out to Boardwalk Games. Now you know, that's where I play. I've been meaning to tell you. Seeing a lot of discussion about the WSOP, though. A lot of people think it's going to be interesting. It could be good, but the nostalgia obviously is at Rio. And you have to weigh that. But
Hey, someone say the nostalgia is at Big.
okay, fair enough. Like, let's go.
Yeah. No, I think there was some allure about the Rio. You know, the hotel itself on the outside when they do those shots for the intros for the TV, the Rio actually looks not too shabby.
Doesn't look terrible. I
Has
totally
it deteriorated in the inside a little bit? Unfortunately. But, yeah, I think those iconic shots when you're watching some of those old ESPN shows, you're going to miss that a little bit. I don't think they can really do that with, I guess they can show the Eiffel Tower. That's fairly iconic for Paris. I'm actually really curious which room, the 2 convention centers, Bally's and Paris, which one is going to get, like, the Thunderdome. My lean is Paris. It's a little bit bigger, I think, than Bally's, but it's a ton of space. So I think that the one property can handle all of the bracelet events, and I think the other property can handle all of the other games.
And that's got to be part of the mindset, right? If you're going to double team it, you have to be able to happily split it.
Yeah. I'm curious if for those Colossus type events, if you're going to have to play some in Bally's, and then you have to like walk your chips over to Paris.
No way.
Yeah. We'll see. Paris has a ton of room.
Michael here with little cues.
The ladies. Oh, wow. And Justin has King Jack suited in the small blind. This could be a pot. Yeah. I like the 3-bet here by Justin. This is a great hand against Michael's perceived cutoff opening range, but obviously he's top of range here and is going to shove it in.
Snap calls from
Wow,
Justin.
and Michael snaps it off.
He's got an over. And some suited cards.
And this pot is basically to tie the chip lead with AJ. This is a huge pot.
1 diamond, otherwise the queens are ahead by a lot. That's not going to do it. So now any king can do.
K-ball only.
That's not it. Queens and 6s with a 5 kicker will be the best hand. And Michael will get the double up through Justin, crippling his stack.
Wow, huge spot for Michael to find queens in the cutoff and then King Jack in the small blind. I don't necessarily blame Justin for just kind of going with it there, given the configuration. Pretty much a cooler spot. As we head back here to the booth.
Well, yeah, as our dealer David gets the stacks right, we're going to bring it back to the booth just for a quick moment. My name's Ben. Mine, of course, is Johnny High Roller. The celebrity himself is joining me in the booth with me. Wow, that was wrong. Joining me in the booth. Words are hard. It's been a great run so far here. We're still 7-handed, actually, being just about an hour into the stream. So thank y'all for sticking around here. There's 480 of you watching with us tonight. Thanks for being here. Let's see, we got lots of our regs in the chat still hanging out with us. Pokerski, of course. Pez is still here. Alice is still here. PM, Ragnar Roverby, Levi Southern is here. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. As we get back down to the action, they are ready to go to the next hand.
Yeah, thank you guys for hanging out with us on your Saturday night, watching some final table poker.
kind of, sort of.
Hopefully picking up a thing or two. I think honestly one of the best things that come out of these live streams is to be able to watch more poker, watch all the hands, both for the tournaments and the cash games. So I always find it interesting, especially for the Tuesday game, the 25-50 game, where you're really seeing some solid players. But also this tournament gets a lot of really good regulars that make the final table, so I'm always curious to see how they're playing, what kind of hands they're playing. Of course, as we got Dennis here with the 5s.
Speed limit's going to get in there. Yeah, again, the pocket 5s making an appearance. AJ here with the mystery hand in the small blind. Wow, is he thinking about a call? What a sweat.
Now, if you're in the older generation, I think you refer to 5s as speed limit with that law back, I think in the 80s, where the federal speed limit was 55. I call 8.5 the speed limit, the Texas speed limit.
Ooh, pocket aces here for
no
Daniel.
way.
And Dennis is up against the wall here. Dennis's tournament life is at risk.
I think this is the third time we've seen someone just wake up with aces against the shove, which is just so sick to see.
No help on this flop. Ace is still ahead, and 9-ball's not going to do it. Now, any of the 2 5s left, that's not it. Aces are going to hold and eliminate Dennis in 7th place. Dennis, you're a pleasure to have at the table. Have a fantastic evening. It's been a pleasure to watch you enjoy the $3,282, and we will see you next time in the room.
Yeah, pretty good score. Yeah, just unfortunate spot. When you get to the final table, these spots are worth a lot of money, and I don't think you've really put a foot wrong the whole final table. Just one of the things I think I've learned over the past few years trying to specifically get better at tournaments is it's hard to outplay the cards.
Sure.
When you start trying to outplay the cards, you're putting yourself in some spots that you're more likely to make a poor decision on. So sometimes you kind of just gotta, eat the bad variance in those spots. Just admit you did nothing wrong and pick yourself back up for the next one.
Oh yeah, you love it. Sweet, thanks. Appreciate you.
Hollywood's going to take down just a little bit of blinds, and we'll move on to the next pot. Quick question. This was at our employee Christmas party for the trivia. The trivia question that we had. What was it? Do you already know where I'm going with this?
No, I did hear that there was 2 nights.
There were 2
of Christmas parties.
I went to both. I had to double dip. And the question for this trivia question applies here. If I had to ask you, Tyler's going to love this because this was his question. If I had to ask you, which pocket pair would be nicknamed also the Luke Skywalker hand? Do you know which pocket pair that would be?
All right, Luke Skywalker. Luke, I am your father. Lightsabers. Jedi. He's from Tatooine.
We are no way affiliated with Disney.
I'm just trying to
Disney
think.
motion pictures, etc. This is all for educational purposes only.
The Skywalkers. What would you call?
I'll let you ponder while this hand breaks out.
Oh, we got some hands here.
Yes, AJ is going to go ahead and raise up to 180K with Ace 5. And the cutoff getting a call from Daniel with the King Queen. Hollywood with the suited Ace 4 in the small blind. He's going to go ahead and see. Is that a raise? No, it's a call. 140. Okay. We're going to go 3 ways.
Okay, I'm gonna take a guess here. 4s.
Do you want me to answer that question now or later?
We can continue this hand. 6-6-6 here on the
The Devil's flop is here. Ooh. 7 on the turn.
Always kind of just want to snap fold when I see 6-6-6 on the flop.
Give me.
Yeah.
5 here on the river. Actually gives a full house for AJ.
And AJ gonna call here.
So
with
Hollywood, and AJ's gonna call with the best hand.
Yeah, Hollywood actually turned the world there with a.
What the fuck? That was so.
No, just a club draw.
Yep, for sure. All right, we have some guesses in the chat. You've guessed
Pocket fours.
the answer is pocket fours. May
Fours.
the fours, may the
Yes.
fours be with you. May
Yes.
the fours be with you. Props to all the guests.
That was the one Luke Skywalker related thing I didn't say was the force.
Yes, may the fours be with you.
Good hand, man. What a fucking mistake.
Speaking of nicknames here, Justin here with the big lick.
That's not appropriate. We haven't said that one time on this stream. I just want you to know. So you're just going to waltz into here on our stream thinking you're all hot and just thinking you can say big lick in front of everybody.
I'm a sucker for nicknames.
All right.
I think.
Oh my God, we got an all in.
Oh, here we go.
All in pot here. Excuse me. Dave's here, all in with the 8-6. I think he did it blind.
Yeah, Dave basically with 1.5 big blinds. I think we're still at 30-60. So, finds an 8.
He is paired up.
Domination station, no more.
2 pair here. Aces and 8s. That's the actual dead man's hand. And now
Right there.
full house. We'll take her down. Get a little double up there. We're seeing Next Gen Poker in the chat. What's up, guys?
Yeah,
Apparently it's Jack here.
Shout out to the boys. Next Gen Poker.
Didn't you say something about Jack earlier in the stream when we were warming up? You noticed our promo video and you gave him a compliment of a sort.
It wasn't Jack, it was Frankie.
Oh, it's Frankie. Okay,
they just had, in the podcast promo, they tried to sneak a little Frankie shirt off, clip in there, and I'm sure that was intentional. But shout out to the Next Gen Poker boys. They are honestly killing the content game. I'm personally a big fan of YouTube. That's probably my favorite social media platform. Watching videos for all different kinds of stuff like poker, video games. And they've had a crazy amount of just subscriber increase this year.
Yeah, they've been doing awesome.
I remember when they had like 5,000 subscribers, I think, earlier this year, and I think they have to be close to 90 now. So,
Sure.
they've been obviously killing it, both on YouTube and TikTok. So make sure you guys go follow them on YouTube and TikTok because they are posting almost every day. And every week, excuse me, every week.
Action folds around to the button in 10-5 suited from Dave. He's going to rip it all in there. And Justin also short stacked. Just calling.
I'm sorry, I called it. Yeah, I'm sorry.
AJ with the San Francisco.
I didn't realize there was actually behind.
Sorry, we're going to keep doing this all night. Gonna let it go, and
Favorite king suited hand. I love it.
about a 10 big blind pot here for between Justin and Dave. Let's see who can come out ahead. King 6 in front.
Stay ahead, king.
It is currently ahead against 10-5.
Stay ahead.
Has a gut shot to a 9 or can pair up, but that is not
That
the card.
is not it. The King 6 with the King High will take it down, and Dave will be eliminated. Next man out.
Yep.
Dave, congrats on the cash.
Fist pumps and table taps.
Respectable. Dave have a fantastic drive home. And you can see the excellent shot of our Saturday night cash room. We're packed house out there.
No problem.
See some of our stream regulars over there. I see Galoo, aka Medi, in the 9th seat there, center of your screen. I believe they're playing some 5-10
Yes.
nose limit. We're actually playing Thursday night. We play 5-10 2040.
Wow.
So if you guys like to play cash games, of the higher stakes variety.
We're here.
We are here. We are
Seat
live.
open.
And Hollywood here with the layup shot. Oh, wow. And Michael wakes up with 10s right behind him.
He's all in for 345. Michael's going to go and call with the tanks. He's actually going to fold around to Daniel, who's got King Jack.
Daniel doesn't have a bad hand here.
Seeing a lot of money in the middle, but he will release. He does make the right release. He is behind by quite a wide margin.
Would have been domination station against the king queen.
Yes.
Here we go, classic flip here.
That's no help for the king queen. We've been seeing the pairs be ahead of here pretty much every single time. And it's still ahead. Tens.
Needs a picture.
Takes it down. Tens and fives with the 9 kicker. We'll take this hand down and eliminate Hollywood in 5th place. Hollywood, have a fantastic evening, my friend.
And just like that, in maybe the span of an orbit, we've knocked out 3 players and we're down to 4. That is just how quickly things can happen with the amount of big blinds in play. So Justin in seat 5 there in the white sweatshirt, who was on the ropes, has to be loving some of the ladders that he just made in the last 10-15 minutes here with the 3 eliminations happening so fast. So down 2-4. But yeah, back to your point on the hand nicknames. It's just something that I have to do it when I'm playing.
You definitely don't.
Oh, no, I have to call them all out. Because I always like to learn new
Can
ones.
I call you Jonathan?
Not even my mom calls me that.
I'm going to have to say that I don't approve of the names for the hands. Now, that doesn't mean you can't do it. Doesn't mean I don't want you to do it. It just means I can't approve of it. I don't like it. I want you to stop. Because I can't take it anymore.
Justin here with the 4 Dewey. He's going to look at AJ with the 10s, the tanks.
He's all in. No, tanks are good. I like to say tea time. That's what I like to say. It's mine. Nobody else's.
No, I'm way behind. I'm way behind. I just love these 4 diamonds.
It's an all-in pot here for Deuce versus the 10s. We're going to go all the way to the river. What say you, dealer? Dealer David in the booth, or in the box.
Not the flop that 4 Deuce wanted to see.
That's not it. Oh,
turns
picks up and out.
Go ahead and give me a 3. Go ahead and give me a 3 one time.
That's not it. Pretty textbook runouts here have gone pretty much the entire way. Justin eliminated in 4th place, and now the pay jumps are super real. AJ takes it down. Now he's over 4.8 million in chips. $8,900 for the next person to be eliminated.
I think Justin's got to be pretty happy. Like we said earlier, he has kind of been in the short stack range, I think, most of the final table. So for him to get 4th place, I think he did win a big flip, but great result for him. $6,713. Gotta love it. And just like that, it was a little bit slow for a while, but we are now down to 3 on this final table, and there's some chips in play. Like I think we're going to see some poker played here between these last 3. So really curious to see how this all plays out, because we've just been playing all in or full for so long.
Yes. We are playing blinds of 40,000, 80,000 with an 80,000 big blind ante now, so it's getting kind of expensive.
We're going to go to a flop here. A couple decent hands.
A couple pieces of Broadway, and Jack 10 will outflop the king queen, making top pair. Michael just has this board pretty much locked up. Going to let Daniel try and shoot a bullet in there. Does not. It goes check, check to the turn. Michael still checking it down. Ace on the river. Ooh.
See if Daniel thinks about maybe trying to rep this card. I think he's going to. Yeah, great bet here by Daniel. And gets Michael to fold the 10. Wow.
That's sick.
Great bet by Daniel. I don't necessarily blame Michael for folding there. The checkbacks on flop turn, very indicative of ace high. So when the Barry Greenstein hits the river there.
My gosh.
Yeah. I actually do want to point out that on our Sunday stream with Mr. Rigby, the Dirty Diaper, I was accused of calling him Barry because I called for an ace on the river for him in an all-in pot. And I believe Aaron Aho was like, did someone just call him Barry? No. I was calling for the old Barry Greenstein on the river.
We're looking at pocket jacks here for Michael's going to raise it up to 400K. And AJ with an ace, three-handed. He's going to make the call. They're going to go heads up to a flop here as they cut out the chips. And seeing almost $1 million in the middle already. 9 high flop, 9-7 deuce. No help for AJ, only drawing really to an ace or runner sixes. Guess there's backdoor straight draws as well. AJ's gonna go ahead and check over to Michael, who has this flop pretty much destroyed.
I got 2 red cards.
How about $1 million?
Got 2 red cards.
I was just about to say, yeah, I think AJ would have preferred to see some red cards on the flop. So real easy fold for him. Gotta bet the jacks there, especially red jack. So take it down, move on to the next hand. Currently $8,908 locked up here for each of these 3 players. What a rate of return on a $365 investment.
I'm inclined to agree. AJ folds the 5-4. Daniel with a jack 10 in the small blind. He's going to come along for the ride. Michael with queen 9. We'll check the option. We'll go post flop. 2 pair here for Michael,
Wow,
but the nutter butters for Daniel. What a flop.
Daniel flops the absolute nutter butters, the nut straights, and he's going to slow play.
Oh my lord. Should a queen or
The
9
money-
come on this turn, I'm going to be sick. That's not it. That's an upside down 9.
See if oh, Michael checks back.
How are
to
they both
pair.
doing this?
Wow, and the action killer turn. I wonder if Michael can get away from it here. 1-liner to a 10. Oh, he is going to make the call.
He's going to pay it off and see that they flop some flops. Jeez. Straight to the king would be the best hand.
Really good checks back on the turn there by Michael.
Oh, super
practicing
great
a little bit of pot control.
Oh, my lord.
There's a lot of hands that have a lot of equity against you when you're jammed on there. It's a little bit of a disgusting spot, so I think you should feel pretty good that he's probably lost the minimum there against the flop straight.
Guys, if you're enjoying high-stakes tournament poker, please do give us a thumbs up on YouTube. Appreciate you so very much. It goes a long way to make the algorithm improved so we can get this stream out to the most people as possible.
And show off the great state of poker in 2021.
Yeah, absolutely. Growing this game greatly. But we need your help. Throw us a little thumbs up if you don't mind. As we make our way to the next one, it's just a linked-in pot here. Jack 7 Trey, Rainbow. Top pair for AJ has this flop pretty killed here. Of course, gut shot for Michael is live. Although AJ does have his outs locked.
Yeah, another hand here where the 4 cards combined would be a pretty good PLO hand. So interesting flops, but I think Michael's just going to let go the gut shot here to a very sizable bet by AJ. He's going to take it down.
Shout out to Mark Woods in the chat. Says, yo, how much time's left? Well, as much as they desire to play. Blinds are 40,000, 80,000 with an 80,000 big blind ante. There's about 500 of you watching with us tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in to Saturday Night Poker. Flat tire for AJ. Does he want to go ahead and make a move? Oh, he did make a move. And Daniel promptly left the building.
Yeah, so I think based on my math, there's about 80 or 85 big blinds in play. So looking at about maybe just under 30 big blinds average. We should see a little bit of post-flop play here now where, you know, we're going to have some very difficult turn river decisions where a lot of people are going to end up being all in big pots. So really excited to see kind of how some of these players react to the moment because we do have some very substantial pay jumps. But also, like I said earlier, you know, when you play all-in pots for so long, you kind of forget, oh, wait, so how do I play flop, turns, and rivers in these tournaments? This is also a stack size that's sometimes quite difficult to play where you're certainly not in push fold mode, but you're all in by the turn and river a lot.
Sure.
And it can be a little bit difficult to figure out in what situations did you just say, I'm going to go with my hand and shove and try to deny equity, but also at the same time, you know, not punting it off and getting knocked out of the tournament because, you know, it can be really easy to overplay some hands, even at that stacked up. So,
Of course. We're seeing a pair versus pair situation here on this flop. And it's going to be a bet and a fold. AJ just releases the pair. Did have the bottom one, so totally reasonable to get out of the way. Doesn't want to go ahead and get in a big inflated pot with bottom pair. Hard to blame him. Just about $9,000 for third place here. That's so sick. Pez says he's out of here. Good night. Have a good night,
see you, Pez. Have a good night. Yeah. Counting down the days until Formula One starts up again.
I'm assuming you've seen the documentary though, then on Netflix.
Oh yeah, should come out about February if you're wanting to watch it. I think February release time should be the best season that they've had.
All in and fold.
He's got a pocket pair. He'll rip it and get the blinds.
Nuts.
Nuts indeed.
Also, the other thing here is, you know, I know a lot of people do play a lot of tournaments, but you just don't end up at the final table three-handed that often. So three-handed poker is just something that you don't, as a live player, play very much. So when you're playing these playing down these final tables, you know, relative hand strength changes a lot.
Of course.
And it's really difficult to make those adjustments sometimes when you're playing mostly like 8 and 9 or 10-handed.
It is. It's being really weird. Like the whole TV is just like, I don't want to work.
Yeah.
So kind of just taking a look at these stack sizes really quick. Daniel's the short stack here with 25 big blinds. And I believe Michael here is in second place. I'm going to call out the small blind.
AJ with a suited king here in the big. Might want to take advantage of the situation.
How much? 400 on top?
Yep.
No, 500 on top.
Oh, 500.
We'll do exactly that.
580.
Yep, solid raise there by AJ. Looking at a suited king when it's limped to you in the big blind, you're feeling pretty good about your hand and definitely want to apply some pressure to your opponent. Getting a fold is a really good result. Just take your 2 big blinds back and move on to the next hand.
Small blind for 40.
AJ in the small blind with an offsuit king tray. Gonna be coming along for the ride. Just gonna make a call here, and Daniel will check his option. Second time he's had 10 tray off the big blind.
In another domination station scenario here.
Queen 7-6, rainbow. King high is currently ahead. Ace on the turn. Another player really liking to see that. AJ is gonna try and rep it though.
110.
Daniel with 10 tray here, nothing to do but release.
Yep, like the bet there. Really, especially at this stack size and this stage of the tournament, denying equity is worth so much tangible dollars. So getting a fold there of any other 2 random cards is a good result. So I like the bet there by AJ.
AJ is going to go ahead and call with the king 6. Michael will check the big blind option with the 9 deuce. We'll see a flop. Flop will come queen high, queen 10-5. 3 different suits. No pair for either player. King high is currently ahead. 6 on the turn. Pairs up. AJ was already ahead. Now he's even more ahead with a pair. Michael only drawing to a 9. Actually, we'll check over to AJ, who was going ahead trying to realize some of that equity there and just take her down, and he will with a bet. Michael will fold, so let's go to the next hand.
Yep, never fun when you're in the big blind looking down at the 9 deuce. Pretty much I've mentally given up on the hand unless you flop something strong.
From quads.
999.
Daniel, very pretty suited 1 gapper.
Could be an open here.
He will open up to 180,000. Michael with queen jack is going to call, and AJ getting a great price. Just to kind of hit something here.
Now we're seeing the deck's cooperating. We're seeing some action with some cards. Let's see what we got here on the flop.
Ace high flop. Pair of queens for Michael is currently best. Backdoor hearts for Daniel will not be coming into play. The 7 comes in on the turn.
Finds a 7 though.
Does pick up outs to a 7 or a 9 here. Currently 5 outs. That is not one of them. Pair of queens is the best hand with a check mark action, and he will check it over to AJ. Who will check as well. Daniel, who has a pair, will go ahead and check, try to get the showdown, and he will be shown the bad news. Michael does have a Q, which is higher than a 7.
Yeah, Michael could not have loved the run out with queen jack there. Not only losing to any ace, but king on the river, which one of your opponents might have a decent portion of the time. So gotta love that result. I was thinking there may be an opportunity for a bluff on the river there to try to get a queen to fold, but I think taking the showdown value there with a 9 is, or with 7, excuse me, is totally fine. We see Michael here participating in the wild card hand.
Sponsored by. I can't actually say sponsored because I don't want to get into that. I don't want to mix.
Sponsored by us.
Yeah, sponsored by
Benjamin Miney and Johnny High Roller here in the booths.
That's right.
Maybe we can start incorporating that into some of the live stream cash games.
All we need to do is start a brewery and come up with our own beer, and then sponsor ourselves. Michael here with the sweating hand will go ahead and bump it on up. That's a huge raise. That's about 1.38 million. AJ with an ace, three-handed though.
Oh, wow.
In a tough spot.
Remember, these are the first and second place. So I can see AJ not maybe wanting to, or maybe giving Michael some respect here.
And he will release, and Michael take down 600K. How about aces?
Wow.
What a crazy show.
We dealt out 6 cards, and there were 3 aces between those players.
Yes.
That does not happen very often.
No, it does not.
So.
50 and 100. Yeah.
That's my bad. 2 cards, 2 paperwork.
I believe if I hear that correctly, we're now at 5,100.
50,000, 100,000 with a 100,000 big blind ante is exactly correct. I think that's the biggest we've seen on the Saturday final table.
Yeah, I'd imagine.
That's super deep. Starting stacks for this tournament were 30,000 in chips.
Usually you don't see this many of the red chips
No.
in the final table, so.
All right, so Michael is open-ended. Top pair for Daniel.
A small blind flop.
Yep. Daniel gonna show him. I had it. I had the goods.
Oh, I'm sorry, not open-ended. What am I talking about?
Gut shot.
Gut shot, yes.
Yep. It makes a disciplined fold there against a decent sizing, but yeah, I think that puts. Yeah, I think Daniel's still around the 20 big blind mark, so definitely some maneuverability to play post flop. So should see these guys battle it out for a little bit more, and I have not heard any chop discussions, so I still believe that we're playing it out full price, which I'm happy to see.
Michael's going to go ahead and call with the 5 deuce suited. AJ with the pocket fours. The handicapped aces. The Luke Skywalker. Gonna rip it.
If you weren't going to say it, I was going to say it.
Okay.
So. Learn a new nickname for a hand every day.
I've been waiting for Dirty Diaper. I haven't even seen it yet.
I've seen a couple of quickly folded ones, but
okay.
I know when Nick was here last weekend, he played the tournament. So man, if just one time he could make a run at the final table and maybe get a dirty diaper hand on the tournament, that would have been awesome.
Great. AJ here with middle pair here. Dana with the gut shot. AJ's going to go ahead and bet 200K over to Daniel. It's a battle of the blinds, who will just release the gut shot draw, and AJ will take it down.
In our Nick Rigby cash game, he was able to find a good spot with the dirty diaper, the 3 deuce. I thought that was a really fun hand. He's a really nice guy. I'm glad he came out. Made for a good highlight clip, and if you haven't already checked out some of the TCH live highlights, I did see the poll the other day posted on the channel.
Say more. Go on.
That a lot of you guys are avid fans of the highlights.
That's true. The highlight channel we got going on is going awesome. Oh my God, just a huge pile of chips.
You just gonna make it about 600K?
600,000.
Even.
And that's gonna be good enough.
Yes, so you can catch our highlights channel in the link tree pinned in the chat. where it does say play on TCH Live, it actually takes you to the link tree where you can find all of our links, of which you can find our TCH2 page, which has all of the highlights from all of the best moments of our streams. If you don't want to watch the whole 4-hour, 6-hour stream or whatever it may be, you definitely don't have to. You can catch all of the best of it in like a span of 5 to 10 minutes or less.
Yeah, I think it's a great little 10-15 minute watch of all the best hands from the streams of the 4. They get out really fast as well, so you can catch those highlights the next day. And to make sure you get notified of those highlights, make sure that you, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button on the bottom right of the video, and also hit the notification bell to get notified whenever those videos are posted.
I did not give this man a tutorial. He absolutely destroyed it. Give this man a thumbs up. Don't do it for me. Do it for this man. He knows what's up. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell notification. Absolutely. You're so good. You're a professional.
I will say there was a time long ago where a young Johnny High Roller was considering making his own poker vlog.
I see. I see.
And there may be out on
Oh no.
a random, not on YouTube, but on a random Google Drive, some clips of me.
Hey guys, how are you?
What's up, guys? Welcome back. Yeah.
It's the classic line.
Yeah.
The what's up, guys?
What's up, guys? Doug Polk here. He made it famous.
Oh, no. Oh, did he?
Domination Station here, going to the flop here.
What's up, guys? Doug Polk here with another episode of Poker Hands.
And AJ finds a 10 here.
Yeah, he does find a 10. He does currently have Michael drawing to a queen and a queen only. AJ's going to bet a massive amount here. That's going to be good.
AJ says, I have top pair.
Wake up.
No
Get
bluff.
out of my pot.
Shout out to Greg Potter, by the way.
Yeah?
He has some of the best one-liners.
He does fancy a good one-liner.
Wake up or get out of the pot. I have maybe used that line a time or two on the felts. So
Nice.
Thank you, Greg.
You got to get yourself a Salt for White t-shirt, though.
Oh, is that where? Oh, yeah.
Every time.
Yeah, I believe he did. I think he mentioned on stream one time he attended their academy, which
Yep, he did.
pretty cool. I definitely did a fair amount of like more study focused during quarantine.
Okay.
So specifically on tournaments, which happened to pay off this year, which felt great, but
So-
yeah, I think tournaments was a really good thing to work on during quarantine when, you know, you really couldn't play live, but, you know, you could play some, you know, $5, $10 tournaments online, not risk too much of the live roll.
Peter Cooper, our London resident, saying good morning, everybody. Pete from London, England here. What's up, Peter? Surprised we haven't actually busted out the purple chips. Like, just coloring up all the light blue at this point. I guess it's just, it takes a little bit of time off the clock.
Yeah, the $5,000 chips, yeah, definitely are haven't been in use, are no longer needed as we're to 5,100. But you know, actually speaking of chip color ups and denominations, there was some discussion as we see AJ here bet his gut shot, get through. There was some discussion this year. I was wanting to play the main. It was a little bit short notice given the tournament score, but I think we'll be in there next year. But the chips, the chip stacks at the World Series of Poker main event used to have those iconic mountains.
Yes.
In the 2000s, early 2010s, of just those massive, the old school chip sets, the yellow 1Ks, the orange 5Ks, just mountains of them going into like day 2, day 3, day 4. And this year they were a little bit more, I guess, they put the green 25K in play earlier. And that just kind of cascaded down to the final table where I remember seeing pictures of the last 3 tables where, or on stream I mean, where the chip leader didn't really have that many chips. Physical
sure.
chips.
Oh, as I speak about it, they're coloring up these chips right now.
Yeah.
I didn't ask for this. this was lucky. We're seeing AJ here had the entire world on this flop, pair and a flush draw. Absolute nothing burger for Daniel. We're on to the next one.
And I think especially with the World Series of Poker now being on the strip, there's going to be more foot traffic, I think, coming in, and at least stopping by maybe just to check it out. Like, oh, hey, I used to watch this stuff on on TV, or they still watch it on like CBS Poker Go. I think it means a lot to walk into go check out the main event and just see those people with towers. I think there's a little bit of value there for the kind of newer player. Like, oh man, wouldn't you love to be in a $10,000 tournament and just have these mountains of chips? So
the same thing goes for the old WPT events too.
Yeah,
those have the same feel when they would travel, and they'd have those also big stacks. So yeah, to the televised events, I totally see that. Queen Jack 4 on this flop, 2 diamonds. No pair for either player. 10 highs, pair of 10s for Michael will be the best hand. He's currently a 9-1 favorite.
All right, so when check on
just seeing some of the chat here as we see a king return.
There it is. There was no 10 on the flop. That's why I said the wrong thing, because there actually wasn't a 10 on the flop. It was a misread on that board. Ben wasn't completely wrong. Yay. Small victories. Then we'll check over to AJ, who will bet 150K on the button. Michael will release the 10 high. We'll be on to the next one. AJ gets the better hand to fold, actually.
Yeah, so just reading a couple comments in the chat. I do think that, in this situation where you have massive pay jumps, you do want to maybe discuss some numbers, especially because the chip stacks are fairly even. And I think the best way to do that is just to try to cut some guaranteed money. Make basically make third and second place pay a little bit more, first place a little bit less, but still play for something. I do think that, if you've gotten all the way down here, you should be feeling pretty confident about your game. Hey, put yourself in, you may not ever really get the spot. You're not going to get it very often, if not ever. So, I'm in favor of testing yourself. See what your stomach feels like. When you're putting in those big bets here with thousands of dollars on the line. So,
of course,
have not heard yet of any discussions on a deal. So, respect to these guys for wanting to play it out for the full Monty.
Michael's going to call on the button with a mystery hand. AJ with queen 6 in the small blind. He's going to go ahead and call. Yeah, big blind option. He's just going to check with the suited king. We're going to go with all 3 ways to the flop. What's going to come? Queen 5-4, 2 clubs. Top pair for AJ.
AJ kind of quietly taking command of this final table with 5.8 now, winning some of those small to medium pots on the flop. He's going to bet out here with his top pair.
And we'll find out that Michael did have ace-8. And that was good for a fold.
So now by virtue of winning some of these kind of hands that end on the flop, AJ now has a fairly substantial chip lead, and it's put Daniel in seat 9 here in pretty much a push or fold scenario. I think he's sitting on about 10 big blinds, about 1 million chips. So,
oh God, and AJ waking up with
this,
his 6 million in chips in play, and the 3rd best starting hand in No Limit Hold'em.
The ladies.
He's gonna just play it sneaky. He's gonna call Daniel. The Jack 9 will call. Michael, the big blind of the option, is going to play it quietly. Tread carefully, players, as we go to this flop, which comes Jack 9-9.
No.
How about a flop boat for Daniel? Michael drawing stone. Well, not completely stoned out, but pretty close. And AJ with pocket queens on this board that totally favors him.
Wow, AJ tries to get cagey with the queens here, and just the one hand you get cagey with.
The smooth from Daniel and now Michael. Just gonna get out of the way, let these two players battle, and they will go heads up to a turn. Oh, please, Lord. That's not gonna be helping Mr. AJ. Daniel's still 95% favorite. He's gonna rip it here into AJ, who's gonna make the call, and it's gonna be a 2.3 million chip pot. Shows I flopped it, man. Drawing to 2 outs, 2 Qs in the deck. Can he find one on the river? How about a bang? That's not it. That's a blank. Jack 9 will take it down with the full house.
Really unfortunate for AJ there. I mean, sure, your opponent can have some 9s calling from the small blind, but when you're 3-handed, it's just really fun. It's really hard to flop trips, especially a boat. So unfortunate for AJ. Always going to be calling it off there, given Daniel's stack size. But I think more importantly, AJ took it really well. Gave Daniel a fist pump once they flipped over the hands. And these are really big spots. I mean, we're playing for a fair amount of cheddar cheese.
That's true.
Up at the top. So
you trying to needle my Wisconsin right now? You gotta understand, and I tell this to people all the time, Wisconsin is not about the cheese. It's about the beer, and pretty close to the beer.
Good beer.
Good beer. The beer is pretty much the main export from that state. Cheese is just a fun thing to have with the beer.
Beer and nice people.
Yeah, well,
Not so
they
much?
might be to you, but Dallas is much nicer than Wisconsin is, in my opinion.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. Wisconsin is kind of just full of people that keep to themselves, I'll say.
Gotcha.
So that's my opinion.
Especially Dallas, people tend to be a little bit more brash. But yeah, also just in general, you know, Texas is definitely has a lot of nicer people, definitely compared to New York or California. So I do enjoy, you know, not just playing poker here, obviously, but living here.
We're seeing a 10-9-7 flop here. Wow, and AJ's going to go ahead and go all in with a pair of 9s. Michael with a better kicker is going to release.
Wow, what a flop. And AJ gets the better hand to fold. Obviously, AJ had a ton of equity with an open-ender in a live 8 to make 2 pairs. So great result. Gotta love the aggression. Not letting that queen's hand, the cooler, affect his decision, I don't think. So still has the chip lead, so not a total disaster. But now Daniel and Michael are neck and neck for second place, which always can make for some interesting dynamics when you have even chip stacks.
AJ in a small blind with the suited king 4. We'll make the call. And Daniel will check his option with this offsuit 1-gapper. Let's go to a flop. Queen 7-4, all diamonds. Pair for both players. Oh. Oh. Daniel wants none of it. No diamond in his hand. Not trying to gamble.
What's crazy is not like
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. When you get down to 2 and down to 3-handed or heads up, I mean, it's really hard to determine exactly the relative hand strength because probably optimally you would never fold a pair heads up, but when you're playing for this amount of money and you don't have a diamond in your hand, it's really tough to make that call because there's so many bad turns on Queen 7-4 for a 7.
Of course. Great point.
So by default, aggression is really going to pay dividends when ranges are going to be a little bit tighter. So I think AJ has a really good chance here to just accumulate chips, kind of just weed both or get both stack sizes just down blind by blind, and then hopefully win some flips, get lucky, and
just say call all the way around.
I think he's still got a really good chance to take this home, even though he did get cooled off there. Queens versus Jack 9.
Pocket fours for Daniel. Pocket pair is going to go ahead and come along. Gonna make it 200K to go. AJ was 7-5 off in the big blind. Only another 100K to go. We'll see a flop. King, Queen 10, all Broadway pictures. Both players happy to check here. Checks all the way to the river, which is a blank. Pocket fours has the check mark. And AJ.
He's got to stay in the hand, Ben. He's got to stay in the hand. Let's see what AJ does here. Just 7 high.
AJ will bet 200K, which is 2 big blinds.
This is actually a great bet by AJ, and the reason it's a great bet is it's cheap. It doesn't have to work very often, even though it does not work here. And AJ is going to just muck it.
What a super call from Daniel there.
Yeah, so, yeah, first of all, just reiterating the point, AJ's bluff there I think is actually really good. 7 high, never going to win at Showdown. But your opponent on that board texture has not shown any strength at all. So, in theory, a lot of his unpaired hands and his bad pairs that we're trying to get to Showdown might just have to fold to a small bet. Daniel elected to call in that instance, which I actually think is fine given how aggressive AJ's been playing. But I actually do like the small sizing from AJ there. Doesn't have to work very often, and it can get a decent amount of hands to fold.
AJ, pocket sixes. It's going to raise to 400K. Daniel with pocket sevens in the big blind. 3-handed and 2 pairs going heads up.
And I could just see on Daniel's face there, it's a little bit uncomfortable here seeing a raise by AJ. But sevens when you're 3-handed is a very strong hand, so we're going to fuck here.
8-high board, an overcard. No, that's the. Don't listen to that little reader there. That does need to get rescanned. There we go.
I was say, I'm pretty sure I saw an 8.
Yeah, we're
on
good.
The screen.
8 trade deuce on this board here. Honestly, not too bad a board for both
This is
players.
a great board for both of these hands. I do think we're going to see some money get put in here. AJ going to bet out the 750, and Daniel quickly
cutting out some chips at least. That's a huge bet.
Good call. Oh, wow. And a little bit of chit-chat between the players here sitting right next to each other on this final table. I'm not particularly one for live reads, but just in this instance, AJ is leaning right into Daniel.
Of course.
Maybe trying to exhibit some strength. Oh, and Daniel folds the best hand.
Wow, that's
wow.
little live gamesmanship there.
We couldn't exactly hear what was said because AJ's got the mask on. I don't think they were talking that loudly, but unfortunately for Daniel, I think he just looked a little bit uncomfortable the whole hand. As soon as he looked down to the sevens against AJ's raise, it's like, oh man, I either have the best hand or I'm way behind. Or I'm flipping, excuse me. I'm either flipping against 2 overcards or I'm way behind, not putting AJ on the 6s or 5s or a lower pair there. So kind of an unfortunate spot. But as we stated, I mean, that's the power of the aggression.
Might go with pocket jacks again.
3rd time this final table, I believe.
He's going to go the whole 9 yards. Oh, I thought he said all in. Oh no, just a
He
raise.
put, he put up the big stack of the smaller chips, but quite committal nonetheless, putting out maybe a third of his stack, maybe 40%.
And he's gonna get it done.
I'll remember that next time.
Just going back to the chip counts, I believe when Daniel doubled up the queens versus jacks nines, this was basically the chip count, so we haven't really changed that much since then. AJ with about a 2-to-1 lead over both Michael and Daniel, sitting on the same chip, on the same stack size, excuse me. So we will see if one of them can maybe make a small dent in the other. As we're going to go to the flop here in this left pot.
It'll come Jack 10, 10, 2 diamonds, diamond draw for AJ. A whole lot of nada for Mr. Michael. So we'll check over to AJ, who's gonna go ahead and bet. That's gonna get right out of the way.
And we'll be on to the next one. And also, I think it's worth noting blinds will be increasing here in about 2 minutes.
Oh my lord.
Yep. So when you're in a 30-minute blind structure tournament, it comes fast and heavy. So just being able to accumulate chips, kind of how AJ's been doing, playing aggressive, getting some better hands to fold. It's just really been paying dividends for him, even though I wouldn't say he's necessarily won all of the all-ins. He's won all of the cooler pots as we've gotten down to like 4 or 5-handed. He's just really been accumulating chips slowly but surely, and has got another pocket pair here with the threes.
$350,000 to go from AJ with the pocket trays. Daniel looking at his offsuit King 8 and a decision to make. He will make the call. These players will go heads up. 9-5 tray. How about bottom set for AJ? Not a whole lot though for Daniel. Overcards to the board.
Yeah,
AJ's just gonna check that thing up.
Love the check by AJ there.
Unfortunately, AJ is going to try and get some value from any ace here, but Daniel has nowhere near a part of that board.
Yeah, and he's a little frustrated by it. Just as I said, that AJ wasn't running too particularly above average. He just finds the bottom step there, but Daniel with nothing to call him with. But yeah, I think you really do have to check on 9-5-3 there with the pocket threes. Try to let your opponent catch up heads up. I mean, you just have such a strong hand with bottom set heads up on. And your opponent really shouldn't have too many overpairs, shouldn't have a ton of nines. So you want them to catch up with like a king, queen, jack, 10. So I like to play by AJ there, just try to get the slow play, but Daniel just happened to have bottom of the range. And ooh, speaking of not bottom of the range.
Pocket 10s here for Daniel. It's tea time.
Let's see how Daniel got the Callaway hat on, so he's certainly wanted to be going golfing with the 10s, and it's going to shove it all in there for 1.6.
Dave, 60, 120, 120, that's it.
As we get a count here, we do get the confirmation that we'll be going to 60, 120, 120 next hand. So remove about 20% of the blinds in play, which is going to push a little bit more decisions to shove and fold, of course.
60, 120, 120.
Just a reminder here, looking at the payouts here, the 365 Saturday tournament here at Texas Card House, 305 runners, totaling for a prize pool over $90,000, over quadruple our $20,000 guarantee. The biggest turnout we've had for our Saturday tournament, and we couldn't be more thankful for all of the players that came out and participated. You know, the lucky three here are going to be taking down the bulk of the prize pool, but great to see that this tournament is getting a fantastic turnout. It's been growing as we've gotten into the winter months, and if you guys are in the area, man, and you play tournaments, you got to come down here on a Saturday. Starts at 10, usually going to be over, you know, this tournament may be over before midnight, so it's a full day, but we're not playing till 3, 4 in the morning, so.
Right.
Oh, as we see a big flop here for both hands. Both flop a flush draw. AJ with a pair and a flush draw. Michael with some straight possibilities with the 10. Let's see how aggressive they each play this.
AJ will go ahead and bet it. 375K to go. Michael with the 10 high flush draw is going to see at least one more.
Yeah, looks like he's just going to make the call here.
Oh man, 7 of clubs, please. Nope. Michael, we'll check over to AJ.
Let's see what AJ does here. Really interesting. Just gonna make a small bet. Maybe about half pot.
425K to go. Michael, that's a great price to maybe spike a flush here. Might think that his 10 might be live too, and it is.
Yeah, I'm certainly getting enough of a price here to make a call. Big pot here going to the river, which is a 3.
Blank City on the turn and river. Pair of 5s
And
in the
Michael
Oh my
shoves.
god. How do you call here if you're AJ? You are the flush draw. You are. If there was a bluff that was doing this, you would think it would be a busted flush draw, but maybe even a naked 7.
Wow.
Naked 7 or 8 that would be doing this. But you're blocking the 8, so it's probably just a naked 7 if it is a bluff. Otherwise, your opponent's probably well ahead, if not trying to bluff with a better hand.
AJ's mind just has to be in the absolute blender here. Michael checks calls flop, checks calls turn, and on a very innocuous 3 river elects to jam, where a lot of straight draws and the flush draw missed. And as you said earlier, it's really hard to call with clubs here. You want your opponent to have clubs. So even though you do have a pair here, it's tough to call with clubs. And I think AJ's just thinking, wow, like, this would be an insane bluff.
That'd be so wild. Michael's tournament life is at risk here.
Yep, I have the clubs.
Wow, I cannot believe he hasn't folded yet. This is awesome. The fact that he's given this much thought is already props enough.
Yep, I think Queen X of clubs makes a lot of sense here for Michael to make sure that he gets a probably the a bet on the river with the best hand, even though he probably had the world in the turn if he had Queen X of clubs. So AJ's logic here, he's pretty spot on.
Man, it's at over $1 million again, huh?
Also to take into consideration here when we're playing in tournaments is not just the direct price you're getting. Obviously, AJ getting a fair price here, calling 1 million to 3, but if he calls it as wrong, now Michael has equal amount of chips to him, drastically changes the dynamics of the tournament and the kind of expected value of each player, as opposed to folding here, maintaining about $1 million. Let me make sure I'm seeing the numbers right. No, actually, if he folds, they're still going to be about even. If AJ calls and is wrong, Michael now has the chip lead, excuse me. So it's really tough to make the call here when you're wrong. You're giving up so much EV in the tournament.
You have to be on a flush draw.
Chat, what
Oh
do you guys
my
think?
God, did you hear him? He said you have to be on a flush draw. As he has the flush, he's blocking the flush draw. That is so sick. That is so sick that he's saying that.
Chat, what do you guys think? Call or fold here by AJ with the 8-5 of clubs.
The dialogue here from AJ is just
Let me see you guys in the chat really quick. Call or fold?
Oh, he makes
Okay.
the fold, but he's going to hate to see it later.
Is Michael going to show it immediately?
Shows
Wow.
it. Oh, that's so sick.
Michael.
Oh, you did talk yourself out of it.
Okay.
What a beautiful hand. That was one of the better hands we've seen tonight.
First of all, as I said earlier, as we've gotten down to the last three where these pay jumps are massive, who had the gumption, who had the strength, the will to desire to want it more than someone else, make that uncomfortable bluff. I learned a long time ago to just accept the fact that bluffing is uncomfortable and you have to do it to play good poker. And Michael just textbook showed the power of aggression, especially in these spots. So big props to Michael for pulling that bluff off there and getting what was probably perceived as a weaker range with the small turn bet, getting that bluff through. I mean, I think that was, I bet you the chat will give me a little bit of stick for this. I honestly think that's a world-class play.
Wow. I mean, we definitely saw it work out. It definitely made a lot of sense as we see AJ flop open-ended here. And top pair for Daniel. Also backdoor clubs for AJ too. Yeah, he's got quite a bit of equity in this
All right,
spot.
so just seeing some of the chat responses in the last thing. Yeah, a lot of folds. I think people were typing 2 for a fold. It's a tough spot. It's really in a vacuum. In theory, it's really bad to call with clubs there. So
backdoor club draw comes in on the turn, and the 5 pairs him up on the river, but the pair of kings is best for Daniel. AJ will check his pair over to Daniel, see if he wants to try and extract some value from any middling pairs.
yeah, as I'm blabbering on, AJ turns the world here with a straight draw and a flush draw against Daniel's top pair. And pairs up on the river, but not the card he wanted to see. He's going to make the fold. So I misspoke earlier. Michael now has 3 million chips, but AJ still keeps the chip lead with 4 million, so he can still bust Michael, which is a crucial part of making that call. Kind of talked about earlier, like when you're wrong, are you losing the chip lead? Are you putting yourself in jeopardy? Kind of, what's your stack size going to look like when you make that call? It's one of those specific kind of tournament things you have to think about on those river decisions, or all in, when you're calling it all in. So, just a great hand, honestly, by both players. I think maybe AJ, you could bet a little bit bigger on the turn there. Let me see AJ here gonna want the king deuce of hearts. And again, Michael and AJ head into the flop, both sharing the same suits.
10-7-4, 2 clubs here. No pair for either player. King high's best. And how about the heart draw on the turn? The backdoor heart draw comes in. They're having.
I
saw
the 4 hearts.
Yep, I almost
saw
lost
the
it.
4 hearts.
But we're professionals back here, and we're obviously, even if it was the 4 of hearts, we wouldn't do anything, right? We wouldn't. We wouldn't do anything.
I would have given out a Greg Potter-esque, dude, are you kidding me?
What does JD say I say? He says I say something. He likes to poke at me for this. Oh, brother. He thinks I say, oh, brother. Oh, brother. Honestly, it's
sounds like a Wisconsin thing.
Honestly, it's not in my normal vernacular. I must just say it passively in spots. And I need it to be clipped. I need someone to show me. Because I don't remember saying it.
The one thing I know that you do is you very much accentuate the size of the pot. When on the cash games, when we have a kind of like an all-in and a call.
Yeah.
$25,000 pot. I think you do a great job of that.
Oh, thanks. Thank you.
Because
we gotta keep you in the now.
I'll tell you one of the things about YouTube that's a little bit unfortunate, as we kind of see a couple players checking back an innocuous flop for their hands. The YouTube Apple TV app, when you pull up the live chat,
will block the bottom right portion of the screen where the pot size is, the flop is. So sometimes when I'm watching the stream on my Apple TV, I can't always see exactly what the pot size is.
Well, I'm glad I could be your eyes.
So when piles and piles of black and pink chips that I can't
Aces
quite,
versus kings versus jacks for $50,000.
I can't quite make out.
Yeah.
It's nice to be reminded verbally how big the pot is, and also crucial for the highlight show. So
Yeah, it just adds a little bit of flair. I just love my job. That's all. AJ's going to call with the 60K in the small blind. Daniel with the pocket trays. Going to check that option and try and spike one.
I have not personally played some $25,000 pots, but maybe some $10,000 pots, and I definitely want to scream sometimes.
Oh,
so.
yeah. Of course, as you should.
As we see King 10-6 here. No, neither player really connecting with this board. And Daniel put out a bet there with his trays, taking it down. So I think it was a good bet there to protect his hand against some random overcards pairing. And I want to say we've maybe played three-handed for, God, it seems 2 levels maybe? Maybe a level and a half, so 45 minutes.
These players are going.
And yeah, these guys are battling. Obviously, Daniel got the huge double up when he was short with the full house versus the overpair, but I think we've seen some really solid poker, some good folds, and a great bluff by Michael. So these guys aren't letting the moment, the spot, really get to them too much.
We're seeing Jack Deuce flop middle pair here, and it's currently good. 9-1 favorite. Let me see the river. It's a 6 of spades. That's no help here. Sure, Jacks has the check mark, and it would be a bet and a fold, and that's all she wrote.
Not going to be good enough here. Heads up to take it down. And Daniel, who's, like I mentioned earlier, has been on the ropes, has now got a fairly decent chip stack. So he's got to be feeling pretty good. Michael probably buzzing getting the 10-3 through, and let's see if AJ can kind of make a, I don't necessarily call it a comeback, but you know, when you have the chip lead and maybe you get kind of bluffed out of it, you know, you might not be feeling too hot. So let's see if he can make a comeback here. And still my pick to take it down.
Okay.
But you know, these guys put up a fight.
You said don't call it a comeback, and I really wanted to.
Been here for years.
Do that. I wanted to make that joke. Now, do you remember during the million when you mentioned to me or whatever that if you win you'd like tip the dealers or whatever? But you were like 20. It was the third table redraw, and you were like 25th or 24th in chips at that point. You were like ready to just write it off or whatever. And then you ran that thing up.
I was definitely last or second to last.
Yeah, you were like definitely last 3 places in chips.
With 3 tables left, we redrew. I got Kim, who was at the final table with the chip lead. She had that many chips with 27 left. I swear to God. She had mountains, and she was directly on my right, which is fairly okay because, you know, I have position on 8 of the 9 hands. But also, we're just going to be battling in some blind versus blind spots, and we did. I was fortunate enough to find like Ace-Jack versus Ace-8 and get a double up through her. But yeah, I was fairly content with taking home a decent-sized score, like making, you know, the last 3 tables. But tournaments are insane. You can just go from 8 big blinds to 80 big blinds in an orbit. And for the record, yes, I felt like I tipped fairly well.
No, for sure. You're good. That's not what I meant. I just meant like so you remembered the moment. Because I remember just like hearing that comment and be like, oh, that's really nice. Oh, but he's unfortunately really short stack. Oh, you know, it is what it is. but then you just ran it up, and you ran it
I
up.
don't think it was you that dealt to me some of my big hands, but you were dealing the last 3 tables.
Yes, I was in the rotation for
Yeah.
both of them. It was the same, us 3 dealers for the last 3 tables.
Was Stassi in
Yes.
the rotation? I think she gave me 2 really big hands.
It's actually me, David, and Stassi.
Yeah.
David was in that. And someone, there was actually one more, too. It was me, David, Stassi, and who was the last one?
I can't remember.
Can't even.
I know that Nick and Jay Nick dealt the final table.
Yes, they dealt the final.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I think this is worth mentioning. I think one of the other main benefits of coming to TCH to play any tournament, regardless if it's one of our bigger tournaments or the, dailies, the scheduled tournaments, you're going to get very solid dealers no matter what buy-in it is, no matter what day of the week it is, no matter if it's the beginning of the tournament towards the end. So many solid dealers, not only the Texas dealers, but across the country, like yourself, have come down here. And I think one of the frustrating parts about playing some other tournaments is when you first are like in the early levels, when you have the most population of dealers, you sometimes get some rough ones, and I think in from what I know, when you're starting to deal, you usually start with tournaments.
But that is absolutely true. So you're definitely right. A lot of times during the big tournaments, when you go to a casino, this is a little behind-the-scenes information. When you go to a big tournament at a casino or an event venue, and you're in the beginning levels, you're exactly right. They're going to be pulling any individual that may have any idea how to deal poker in that room. So when Choctaw, our northern neighbor, ran their last big event, there was a shortage of dealers, and they ended up pulling dealers out of the slot tech department, out of HR or whatever, anyone that they basically just emergency if anyone knows how to deal poker. Yeah, get your butts up here. I'll get right back to that discussion in a minute. Michael with ace queen here suited on the button as AJ is going to go ahead and looks like call, and Daniel will check the option. So we're going to go 3 ways.
3 ways here with Michael got the premium here with the ace queen of puppy feet, but is still gonna have the best of it with ace queen high. Sorry, I thought somebody had a 4. But AJ with a 5. Gonna go check, and check here by Michael. Oof, ace on the turn.
Ace is up here for Michael is going to be the check mark, having both players drawing dead.
Very easy card for Michael to bet. Yeah, he's like, guys, I have it. Sorry.
Oh, quick shout out, Mr. Huiwin, excuse me, on YouTube with the sub. Thanks for joining the team.
But yeah, when you go out to the World Series, there's always rookie dealers dealing
fresh out of classes.
Yeah. If you're playing those daily deep stacks, or you're playing the big events, the smaller buy-ins, you're gonna maybe have a little bit of frustration sometimes with the pace of the play.
Yes.
And the dealers can definitely be a part of that problem. But when you come down here to TCH Dallas, we have not only best dealers that are coming down here, but I think management feels comfortable with almost the whole dealer pool dealing almost any game.
Of course, that's the thing. We have so many different games spread at this room that you just can't come straight from a casino and expect to do well here. You have to be well versed in the mixed games because we have lots of them.
Yeah. But our
so that translates.
The most experienced dealers here, who deal the big cash games, the stream games, the 5-10 plus games. I mean, they're out there dealing the tournaments.
Yep. Everyone does everything.
It's a group effort by a lot of experienced professionals. So I think that's definitely one of the best parts about some of these, the card houses in general, especially with Texas Card House Dallas. Is just the quality of dealers, no matter what you're playing, is always going to be top notch. So.
Well, thank you for the kind words.
As
on behalf of all the dealers.
Yeah, as you are, I guess, de facto representative of the dealers when it comes to the stream. And I mean, honestly, if you watch the stream, if we were able to get double board PLO bomb pots.
We're working on it.
Shown on the screen. I know we've been talking about that, and hopefully we can get that live soon. I think you would actually see just how well some of these dealers can just pick apart multiple pots, make the pots they need to make, and then chop everything up really fast. I mean, that's just something a casino game doesn't do, and it really does take your 100% attention as a dealer and, you know, quick math, making sure that you're organizing pots. It's
There's no shortcutting in PLO bomb pots. If
Yeah.
you're not from the area, or if your local poker room doesn't do PLO bomb pots where you're playing double boards, you know, making side pots all the time, action's crazy, it's not for the faint of heart. It takes absolute dedication, good communication to the table, and lots of that. But hold on a minute, Michael's got Cowboys on the button. He's gonna go ahead and looks like make a move. See if he wants to fast play or slow play. What say you?
Talking about maybe taking a small break.
There's 10-minute break in 8 minutes, so let's see.
Okay. There are no breaks on the screen.
True story. I announced that at the beginning of the
Did you? Okay. We're just trying to. All right, it's a raise.
Michael gonna put out a big old stack of 25K chips, and he says, "Guys, I had it."
That's it.
That's all he's got. Just a couple Cowboys in the home of the Dallas Cowboys here from Dallas, Texas. Guys, there's 560 of you watching with us still towards the end here. You guys are amazing. Thank you all for tuning in. We're not going anywhere until this table is finished. So, guys, get yourself something to eat. Get yourself something to drink. Stay here because Johnny High Roller to my right, and of course myself, Ben Miney, we're going to be here until this table is finite. AJ with ace queen on the button.
Find them a million, scan it.
I think he said raise, just deciding on a size, and there it is, a raise. Make it 285K to go, and it folds around. Ace queen is good. We'll take it down. You can see the payouts here still. $8,900 for third place, $13,480 for second, and of course, just shy of $22,000 for first place. The buy-in was $365. Unlimited re-entry for the first 4 hours of play led to 305 entrants, adding up to a total prize pool of $91,500. And this is a weekly scheduled tournament. We do this every single Saturday. You can catch me here, along with usually a special guest on my side every Saturday night. So welcome one and all. Daniel, very welcoming of the Pocket Kings of his own. Actually, going to fold around. Daniel's going to take it down for 300K of profit. Be on to the next hand.
Hey, boss man, do me a favor, get off the stage. Thanks, sir. Oh, yeah? That's why I told you to get off the stage.
I might go with an ace you do see on the button. He will raise. Make it 350K to go. AJ with a 9-8 off in the small blind. He'll let it go. Ooh. Daniel with a better ace.
Not your favorite ace to have here, because you can't make a 2-card straight. You know, rather have ace 10 or ace 5, ace 4, ace 3, but definitely got to make a defend here at least. Definitely an argument for a 3-bet if maybe Michael was a little bit wider on the button, but I think he's been playing pretty reasonable, so I like the call by Daniel. The good check, check.
Yeah, check, check. Both players drawing some straights. King on the river. It's going to be a chop pot here. Aces and kings with a 10 kicker. Or jack kicker.
Jack 10, yeah. But definitely one of the reasons that you can call there with ace 9, maybe against a tighter range, like Michael has, is you keep some worse aces in their range, so you can kind of cool off another ace if it's a ace high board, and then you know ace 9 high might still be the best hand on a lot of runouts. So you can play some turns and some flops, turns and rivers. Even though you're not suited, it's, you know, ace 9 is, can't make it too far straight, but I like the play by both players there, and a lot of the times you're just going to chop with ace 5. As we look at the chip counts now, we are almost dead even here. Then 35%, 33%, 33%-ish chip stacks. So we are going to see some poker here, and AJ just rips the ace 5 suited.
Rags for the other players. The ace 5 takes it down.
Some say it's the new aces. I have had my hand in the cookie jar a little bit too often with some ace 5 suited bluffs, so I have a love-hate relationship with that hand. But Jeff Boski, one of the YouTube vloggers, famously would say it's the new aces because it's a good hand to like 4-bet bluff with. So.
All right, since we're even in stacks here, let's pick our winner. Who are we thinking is going to win this tournament? For AJ, number 1. For Daniel, number 2. And for Michael, number 3. Who do you have? AJ is 1, Daniel is 2, and Michael is 3. Hit those numbers in the chat. Let's get the chat going. Let me know you're alive in there. Again, AJ is 1, Daniel is 2, and Michael is 3. Who's taking this thing down?
Yeah. And not only has everyone, or every player has about the same amount of chips, but we've seen all 3 players make really good decisions.
Of course.
Obviously, there's a lot of variance in tournaments. There's no doubt about that. But, I mean, especially in a 300-person tournament, not the biggest tournament, but it's really hard to just fall your way into the last 3. You know, you really got to get lucky if you're making poor decisions to get to the last 3. So, obviously, a reason that these guys have put themselves in the position. But even at this final table, even at 3-handed, I've been really impressed by all the play that these guys have been making. So, as we see AJ here with the little ace 5 of diamonds again.
Wow.
Let's see if he just sticks it. He's going to come in for a raise.
It's 385.
AJ takes it down with the ace 5. The new aces, like I said. Seeing a lot of 3s, a lot of Michael fans in here.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of, I'll still take AJ. I mentioned it earlier, you know, because he was playing aggressive. But, I mean, what I saw from Michael, I would definitely expect to see some 3s in the chat because that bluff was awesome. Above the rim level play from Michael. So. And AJ's just continued to picking it up here.
Big slickaroonie for AJ.
Kind of wedges his head a little bit there. And
like, I'm so tired. I just want to fold.
8160 next hand.
It's 325.
And Daniel here with an ace himself.
Ace 7, 3-handed. You're definitely going to be putting some money in the middle.
And AJ's been aggressive these last few hands. Daniel might put him on a little bit of a wider range here.
Absolutely.
Probably considering at least a call. I mean, he's going to make it. And Michael with a hand in the big blind.
He will call. We'll go 3 ways to a flop. How about ace, queen, jack?
I haven't done the call for action flops yet, but I'm going to call for it here. Let's get some high cards.
That's
cards.
not it. That
is
not it.
Just as
Although
I call for it.
Daniel with the worst hand going in definitely has the best hand on the flop.
Wow.
And AJ rips it.
Oh, and Daniel made a pair of 7s. I'm sorry, I didn't see that.
Yeah. He's got top pair, top kicker. Action check to AJ, who just ripped it with the ace king, and Daniel looking at top. How do you get away from this? No way.
As stated earlier, the power of aggression cannot be understated, especially in these tournament spots. Daniel really just in a nightmare spot here. You're not drawing dead, but you're drawing slim against overpairs. You have 5 outs twice. So you have about 18, 19%. So, unless of course your opponent has aces, which is a little bit less likely. Oh, and AJ does
He's
the lean
doing the
again.
lean again, and Michael's still in the hand. They got to be careful about what they say.
Yeah.
Oh my God, they're having a full conversation. You gotta be careful.
Really feel for Daniel here. This is just a miserable spot. 3 left in the final table. Thousands and thousands of dollars at stake. If you're wrong here, you're out. Or most likely out for 8,900, losing a shot at the 22K. So obviously seeing the cards, if he does make the fold here, you know, you don't love it, but I think given how strong AJ looks here, raising pre-flop and then just bombing in on 7-4 deuce. Can really see him making a fold here, and I don't think in a vacuum it would be terrible. And really what we haven't mentioned is we have Michael behind that might have a set. Obviously you have a 7, so 7s are less likely, but you know, 4s and 2s are going to complete from the big blind. So sometimes you make this fold, you look like a genius, so really a spot of indifference here for Daniel.
He lets it go, and now Michael's gonna probably release. AJ gets away with one.
Let's see if he shows it. Nah.
No chance. There's no way you show there.
It's also definitely one of those spots where you're making the fold, like a hard fold between 2 players. You just love to see the player behind you just like insta-call. It just almost never happens, but on the occasion it does. You feel so great. So now looking back at the chip stacks again, AJ building a bit of a lead now. Has about half the chips in play, I think.
Daniel now with pocket queens.
And with the blinds at 160, about 15 big blinds between for both second and third place, both sitting on about 15 big blinds. So let's see what Daniel wants to do here with the ladies. Gonna pound it here.
460.
He'll make it 460K to go. Offsuit 9-8 from Michael. He's gonna get out of there. And a suit of 1 gapper from AJ.
AJ out here playing some standing desk poker, making sure, you know, get up, stretch a bit. I know when we played the $1 million tournament here, I think we started at noon, I want to say. And then obviously the final table took forever. You know, we played until like 7 in the morning, so maybe 18, 19-hour day, a couple breaks. But man, you sit in that chair for 2 hours at a time, over and over again. Like, I'll be honest, my legs were just hurting for like no reason. And definitely was like at the final table, getting up a ton, stretching.
It just really
get the blood flowing.
Yeah, like it just really shows like when you're doing something like that for so long, for long periods of time, it really promotes, or it's a really good a promotion for wellness and taking care of yourself. Like, like just wellness preparation for an event like that, making sure you're ready to go. All in for AJ. Oh, just kidding.
Yeah, I think it was just a call.
Misclick of the buttons, I see. Look, I'm ace, king. No player really loving this one. Oh, but Daniel making a move. My queen good?
Queen high, no good.
But it was.
Yeah, I like Daniel's little bet there. You know, if AJ's not betting there, he probably doesn't have too strong of a hand to call down multiple streets. So, like Daniel taking the initiative there when check two. But we were saying earlier, I don't think it's a coincidence that a lot of the big tournament crushers, the guys that play high rollers, most of them are in pretty good shape. Obviously, when you're in your 20s and your 30s, it's a little bit easier, but there is definitely a benefit to having just overall fitness.
Of course.
Even though we're playing, you know, we're not playing a physical game. We're playing, you know, game of the mind. So, but I can definitely see why some people do not like tournaments because yeah, some of those 14, 15-hour days, especially when you're playing like a day one or something, can be pretty brutal. But if I can play 18 hours of poker and make $309,000, I'd do that every day.
Yeah. Actually, you know, check two. The turn here is going to bring in the queen of clubs. Pair of threes is the best hand. Now two pair from Michael.
Good for Michael, and AJ says 7 high.
No good.
Could have had a lot of interesting turn cards. I gave him a straight draw, but the queen ball. Queen ball. Shout out to Greg Connor.
Queen ball, corner pocket. Pocket aces for Daniel. I would like to remind everybody that Daniel started this final table with 375K or something.
That's
around
right.
He was the super small stack at this table.
Oh, wow.
And he is all the way up here with pocket aces against ace 9. That's all in, dude. And we are going all into a flop. 6 million in chips. AJ's tournament is not at stake here, I don't believe. It does come 10-7-5.
Can turn some straight draws here.
There it
That
is.
is open-ended.
I need a 6 or a jack.
6 or a jack.
That's not it. Aces is going to go ahead and double up through AJ, leaving AJ with less than $1 million in chips. Daniel now firmly in a chip lead. And right after I told you that he started this table with, I don't know, 6 bigs? 6 or 7 big lines?
He's now down to about that much, yeah.
A true high roller story.
Hey, it can be done.
It can be done. We're seeing it now.
As quickly as those chips went away from you, they can come right back. I really don't think AJ's shove there, given the stack sizes, is that bad. Honestly, I like a shove with ace 9 more than a call.
Sure.
If you're not, especially if you're not suited. So just really unfortunate when you have an ace, you're 3-handed to run into not just a bigger ace, but 2 birds.
Right.
Come on.
Just a couple of them.
Yeah.
Gosh, it's a really rough position there for AJ, of course, getting semi-stacked here through Daniel. As they get the pot right there with the tournament director and everything, making sure exactly how many chips AJ has. We're here with you in the booth. My name is Benjamin Miney, alongside my very special guest, Mr. Johnny High Roller himself. Thank you very much for being here with me tonight.
Hey, no, thank you for having me. This has been a great final table to watch. Not only is it our biggest final table we've had for the Saturday tournament, we're also seeing some really awesome play for guys that are playing high stakes. I mean, we have a lot of money at stake here, and these guys have not been afraid to put it in, either pre-flop, post-flop. Michael's 10-3 bluff, AJ there with the ace-9. I really do like the shove there as opposed to a call. Just so happened that Daniel had the goods.
Yep.
But thank you guys all for sticking with us for this final table. I think it's been really good so far, and we still got a lot of play left as we head back to the action here. And just a friendly reminder as I do this on my own phone here to go ahead and smash that like button for us.
Send it.
Costs you literally $0. It costs you 1 touch of your phone.
Wow, what a flop here. 9-8-7. AJ open-ended. Top pair for Daniel. Michael, ace high. AJ is all in with the open-ender. Daniel's going to call with the top pair and, a little bit of an open-ender of his own.
Jack on
Jack
the
there
turn.
comes, gives him the straight.
Are you kidding me?
Just,
Gets there twice.
just drills both sides of it.
Oh my goodness.
AJ's right back in it with 1.7 million in chips as he earns the check mark right on the turn, no sweat.
As I stated, as easy as they can leave your stack, they can come back, baby. You just need to drill an open-ender. His 10 was no good, actually. He was just drawing to the straight outs. As I think Daniel had a 6. He'd make his own straight on the 10. So AJ getting the crucial double up, has some chips to work with now, and this is not over.
No, it is not. Hey, quick shout out to, where was he? Where were you at? Well, we got Dr. Six with a sub on YouTube, and of course we do have another. Gotta find it. Faramond A with a sub on YouTube as well. Thank you so very much, you guys. Welcome to the team. Pocket sixes for Daniel now. Just so many premiums. Three-handed.
David, I am not Nate from The Office. He definitely has more hair than I do. So, but he is a little funny side character. I appreciate that.
It's going to be a raise and a call here. We're looking at Jack Deuce off against pocket sixes. Let's see, a flop. Dealer David. 9-5-5 here. Pretty good flop here for the pocket sixes, I'd like to say. Jack Deuce not going to be hitting this one in that range. Not too often. It'll be a 300K bet. Michael will release. We'll be on to the next one. RJS Robert with the sub, also on YouTube. We're getting a little sub train going. Thanks, guys.
Yep. 37.8K subscribers here on the TCH channel. How about we get 40,000 before the end of the year?
That sounds great. That sounds like a great goal. I know there would be giveaways involved if we could do it. Hand number 108 here on the stream. $80,000 small blind, 160K big blind with the 160K big blind ante. The stakes are high here. Comes King, Queen, 4, Rainbow. Nothing for either player. Jack High is currently in the lead. 10 comes on the turn. Gives AJ actually an open-ended draw here. And a 9 comes, which actually completes the straight for AJ, pairing Michael.
AJ just making straights left and right here. Michael cannot make the call there with the 9. So speaking of the giveaways,
Yes.
I know I've been very complimentary of TCH tonight, but I do think it's worth mentioning that if TCH swag, apparel, accessories were a part of these giveaways, I do think it would be worth your while to smash that subscriber button so we can get some more giveaways, because TCH has some very, very nice looking apparel that can be purchased at the front of the club.
You know what it is? It's the black and white colors. It's not something stupid like red. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you can get some polo shirts, some like Under Armour shirts in some different colors. The hats look great. Some regular hats, some checker hats.
That was not an actual ploy, the color red. I'm just taking a stab at just a little poking a prod for those that might understand what I'm trying to say. Gonna be a profit of 160K for Daniel as he continues to get richer in this final table, three-handed.
You remember, last time you left me with like 35,000. This time you left me with a little bit less, right? So you don't completely kill me. You leave me a little. Is it on me now?
Yes.
AJ here with Queen 3 of my personal favorite suit, the Spade de Ruse. I think I'm going to complete here with his own pair of 3s here. Two spades on the flop here. AJ might, yep, gonna shove it with the overcards, and Michael snaps with middle pair.
Wow. 3.7 million in tournament chips. AJ's tournament life is on the line.
Queen
Gets the queen on the turn and an 8 on the river.
gives Michael 2 pair,
Oh my God.
and AJ is out.
The suck and the resuck comes finally. We've actually haven't seen that yet tonight. Here it is. 2 pair here will eliminate AJ in 3rd place. AJ, you ran a little poorly at the end, but you played great today, man. Have a great night. Enjoy the cash. Drive safely. We will see you next time here on TCH Live. And as for the 2 remaining players, it's time to play. It's heads up time. Don't you guys go nowhere. We got plenty of poker coming up as these players show some props for AJ for a game well played. Let's show some love for AJ in the chat real quick.
Yeah, I think AJ can hold his head up high. I think he made a lot of really good decisions, a lot of really good plays. He played by default fairly aggressively, more than his opponents, and I think that paid off for him in a lot of spots. And then, as you were mentioning earlier, he came into the final table as one of the shorter stacks, if not the shortest stack. So to get a 3rd place result, take home about $9,000 in cold, hard cheddar cheese. I think it's a great result for AJ, and he should feel really proud about the way he played, especially given the stakes that we're playing at right now.
Made some great moves, and now we are heads up
raise 480. Sorry, 460.
Be a raise and a take it down. Danny taking down 160K of profit.
And all right, there are 2 payouts left. Both of these players are guaranteed 13,488. So with the 22K up top, we're looking at about, if my math is right, a $7,500 heads up. $8,500 heads up.
Yep.
And kind of the one interesting thing, so when playing the Millie drop, the 1 million guaranteed, I completely forgot. I think I found this out maybe 3-handed, or like kind of started considering it more. But in these big blind ante format tournaments,
Yep.
we do not adjust the antes for the final table when there's no longer 9 players to ante for. So you are actually playing a small blind of half the big blind, and then the big blind twice. Kind of, because you're putting in an ante, but essentially when you're the big blind, you're putting in a substantial amount more in blind than the small blind. And from what I've kind of talked to some people about, you know, in tournaments, how that changes your strategy is that you should almost always play the button. Which I was kind of surprised about, but then I thought about it like, oh, if the big blind is having to put in so much blind money,
Yep.
and you get position on all future streets, you can almost play any 2 given a decent stack size from the button. So curious to see how our opponents first of all, play heads up, because you just never get to play heads up.
That's true.
But also adjusting for that big blind ante. I think in the WSOP main event between Aldemir and Holmes, I think you saw Aldemir, and I think both of them actually, both Aldemir and Holmes, almost playing their button 100%, regardless if they had 7-4, 7-3, 6-2. It's the power position, especially heads up, that means so much. As we see Michael here limp the 9-4. Daniel's going to check his option. Heading to a flop.
Jack 6-6. No pair for other players. Still no pair on the turn. King of diamonds, and just kind of take it.
Yep.
Take it.
And that's the one thing about heads up, is that it's really hard to make a pair. So you really do need to fight tooth and nail for every pot with non-pair hands. You need to be bluffing with a lot of draws,
Yep.
calling down with some king highs and some queen highs, which when you're playing like 9-handed cash games, I mean, you're hardly ever calling down with those hands. So of course, it's those kind of adjustments from, I guess, typically maybe kind of assuming what these guys would maybe normally play. Wow, and Michael gets a walk with aces. Was a bit of a laugh.
You can always chop if you want.
But I feel privileged to be able to have on tape that 3.5-hour heads up with Lala. It was fun actually getting some of my non-poker friends' reaction to it, because it's a little bit easier to explain poker heads up.
Yeah, for sure.
So when I'm telling them, hey, you like called all in here and you just had a queen, and I'm like, well, I'm not letting Lala push me around. She's just like, when I make a pair of queens, I'm holding on for dear life. So I would love to get another crack, hopefully in the Saturday tournament. I actually have played heads up in the Saturday tournament, fun fact, back in August. Unfortunately, our streaming was on a slight hiatus due to some issues with YouTube, so it didn't get saved. But
Yeah, that was an interesting event.
that is poker across all of YouTube. That those channels run into problems with the algorithm, like flagging for no reason. So luckily, we haven't had those problems with the TCH stream recently.
That's absolutely true. We've run pretty good on that.
They were interested in numbers for an ICM.
Sure. So go ahead and deal them out of hand. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead without putting in your annies or whatever. You go ahead.
All right, so these guys are going to go ahead and actually discuss an ICM chop here. I think everyone's getting tired here. It's been a long day. Players have been playing since 10 a.m. this morning, and it is now midnight 16 here in Dallas time. So as they deal them out of hand and they discuss what's going on, we will come to the. Let's see if they're actually going to play it out here.
I think a lot of reasons to discuss a deal. Obviously, the biggest tournament that we've ever had, biggest prize pool we've ever had. So we probably expect that some of these players, you know, are very content with the money that maybe chopping straight up would give them. Also, their stack sizes are fairly even, so an ICM chop is probably going to give them a few $100, maybe $500 difference. So again, they'll be pretty happy with what they take home. And also, I think most of the play that each other has seen, I bet you they respect each other's game fairly well. Remember, Michael was all in for his tournament life somewhere in the beginning of three-handed with a bottom pair of threes that he made on the river. He missed his clubs, jammed it all in against AJ, and got AJ to fold a better pair. So I'd imagine that part of that's going through Daniel's head. Also, I just haven't seen Michael make too many mistakes.
Sure.
So I bet you from Daniel's perspective, he probably thinks Michael's a very solid player, and I think the other way around, Daniel hasn't really made too many mistakes. I think for three-handed, he's definitely got the run of the cards, but he also came in with the shortest stack. And that's just kind of the way tournament goes. But I'd imagine that Michael respects Daniel's game enough to think, okay, you know, do I want to really chase this extra few $1,000s, or maybe like $4,000 or $5,000 over a straight-up chop? Because I think if they chop, they'll get roughly 17.5, 17.6 apiece. So playing to the winner would get you 22. So you're chasing an extra 4,000 or 5,000 of winnings there, but. You know, when you get into a big spot like this, I mean, I have no shame in saying that when Lala and I got heads up in the million, I asked to talk numbers after every other hand. And it took 2 hours of heads up play and me crawling my way down from a 5-1 deficit for us to at least guarantee some more of the prize pool, and then we played for about 50K instead of like 140. Sure. Which, you know, that is, for me, a substantial amount of money, I think, for most people. So we see Travis explaining the numbers. Our wonderful tournament director. Absolutely killing it.
Just a monster as far as tournament directing goes. I think they're discussing it right now, and that's it.
All right, so you guys want to play one handout for the winner, or what do you want to flip, or what do you want to do? Yes.
Are they going to flip for the privilege?
They're basically they're flipping for the clout. So we're going to let them do that. And as they do that, we're going to get ready to sign off here from Dallas. My name is Benjamin Miney. You've been listening to the voices of me and, of course, my esteemed guest this evening, who's been phenomenal. Show the love for him in the chat, Mr. Johnny High Roller, the winner of our Millie Drop $1 million guarantee tournament we had just a few months back. Guys, that was an awesome tournament. Check it out. It's in our archives on this YouTube channel. Check it out. So quickly, I'm going to go over our streams that are coming up this next week. So guaranteed, we have Monday in Austin. That's going to be 5-10 no limit. And then, of course, Tuesday is our big game here in TCH Dallas. That's 10-25-50. That's going to be with JD and all of the other wonderful guests, Kyle Z, and probably we'll see some Bex and some Rom, hopefully.
Just the elite regulars of our Tuesday 25-50 game.
It's our best game, so make sure you are there for that. Wednesday, of course, we have 5-5-10, and that's going to be an awesome game as well. That's here in Dallas. And then Thursday is 2-5 no limit in Austin. Next Saturday, we're doing it all. Actually, no, it's Christmas. Yeah, it's Christmas. We are off for next Saturday, and then we'll be back next week. So, guys, from here in Dallas, enjoy the holiday season. Big props to Cooper and Tyler in the booth, doing what they do best. Shout out to all the dealers and the, of course, tournament director and Travis tonight for today's event. Guys, from Ben and Johnny High Roller, that's it from Dallas. We will see you next time at TCH Live.
Hello and welcome to From the Felt. My name is Ryan Crow and I'm your host. And with me I have Mr. Bill Hewer out of Houston, Texas. How are you doing?
Great, Ryan. How's it going?
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Inside TCH Live podcast. I'm Ben Kirby alongside Greg Potter here. We're here to talk about all things TCH Live.
All right, ready? Here we go. You want to play on TCH Live? If so, this is the clip for you. It's Rosie from Next Gen Poker. All you have to do is go to our channel, click the join button. We'll get you in our private Discord where we post the signups for live streams all the time. You can reserve your spot. You can make crazy plays against us. Create your own highlight reel. It's awesome. Always a fun time. Join up. Let's play some cards.